Okay, and we are live. Welcome to the latest session of our Dungeon World campaign. Now, last session, unfortunately, young Rufus was the White Raven was laid low by his injuries. So, Rufus, as you start to slowly recover, your eyes fluttering open, you find yourself surrounded by your colleagues. You can tell by looking around that you're in Pond Mount, although you're not entirely sure where you are. Your head's still a little bit fuzzy. You can see your companions sat around. You appear to be in some sort of large hall, which has a table groaning with food and drink in it. Glog is busy demolishing the food. Dirk is tucking into the food as well. You can see a fairly well-dressed man, Lord Gould of Pond Mount, is talking to Sanya and Milo. The rest of you guys, the first you're aware of that Rufus has recovered is when you hear this. It is evening.
He'll live.
So you've opened your eyes, Rufus. What do you do?
Glog. Hello.
I see him struggling to wake up, and I grab the pitcher of water off the table beside him, and I just kind of dump half of it on his head.
Okay, cold water splashes over your face, Rufus. So immediately the icy coldness of the thankfully fresh and clean water jolting you into full wakefulness.
And there was me wants to drink some beer.
What? Well, wow, we guys. What? Are we still in Pond Mount? And Bruce sort of backs up against the wall, checking himself. What the hell was that thing?
The taint's solved. I need more beer. I leave.
Get Rufus some as well, then. He needs a lot more than you.
There's no chance I'm bringing him a beer.
Okay, fine. In that case, I shrug my shoulders and tell him I'll get him one.
How long was I out?
My guys are selfish.
Quite a long time. The beer will give you nutrients.
Is
And
Milo
don't worry,
okay?
it is drinkable. Yeah, he's not too bad.
The last thing I remember is this man. Was he a man? He turned into... He rippled with flesh and bone and clobbered me.
Milo pats over to his body, looks down at him.
It's kind of embarrassing that someone of my persuasion gets caught unawares.
They're okay?
I think I'll survive. Do I have like a massive scar jotting down like my midriff or something like that?
It's a fantasy game, of course you do.
Yeah. Is it still infected, by the way, from...
Who knows?
It is now.
Maybe that's something we'll revisit later.
Me and my big mouth. Right.
Do you remember the vision?
The mission?
The vision?
Oh, the vision! The vision, yeah. Something about a city. You were there.
Mm-hmm.
And these weird-looking people.
He puts his tiny hands on Rufus' forehead. Kind of feels if he has a fever or anything.
Yeah. Like Rufus picks up the jug, hoping there's some water left in there for him to drink, and then just puts it back down.
There's about half the jug left.
Oh, that's excellent. I'll take a swig.
You swig this cool, refreshing water, and you do slowly, everything starts to come into a little bit of sharper focus. You start to feel more like your old self.
So, the butcher turned into something. Is the rest of the town like the him?
No. Clark took care of him, and
You guys look like you've been in a scuffle. What's happened since I've been asleep?
Scuffle's a bit of an underestimation. We fought a tree, for one thing.
Well, I don't see how much a tree would put up much of a fight. It's stationary.
Not this one.
Oh.
It was alive in a very animated, almost humanoid-like way.
The trees are evil now?
They were. When we reached the source of where this taint was coming from, the tree started attacking us too.
At this point,
And then we found...
Lord Gould steps forward and he says, I'm sorry, my dwarven friend, I don't mean to interrupt. I know that yourself and your muscular friend there, and he points at Glog, we're talking about making use of the public bathhouses. I've sent a messenger off to tell them that you're going to head there, so you needn't worry about any payment or anything like that. It's the least I can do. And whilst I'm pleased to see that your friend is somewhat recovered, I will need some time for my interrogators to speak to the prisoner, and he sort of gestures at the door to the back room that Andar and Hammerfall was dragged through by his prison guard, effectively. So please, all of you, feel free to enjoy your evening in Pondmount. As I say, if once you've dealt with your business in Gallenmeet, you would care to return here and we can thank you properly and show you fully our hospitality when things are a little more settled here, I would be absolutely delighted. For the evening, though, please consider Pondmount your second home. Enjoy our taverns, our bathhouses. You are amongst
I will.
friends.
Remember what we did here.
Milo nods at him and wonder why his companions are so keen to get all this coin, because it seems they get everything for free anyway. So, and maybe you should get something to eat, Rufus, and something to drink. You need that, right?
Do we have any food that's actually edible?
That's plenty.
Rufus, all the food is edible. Eat whatever you want, and
Lord
here's
Gould
a beer for you.
Gestures to the table and he says, your dwarven friend is right. See this table groaning with breads, meats, cheeses. It is all fine. It is all from my private stock. Please, my friend, help yourself.
Rufus
sort of looks at it like a little bit incredulously. Isn't half the town starving right now?
Rufus, to finish the story that Dirkia was saying, when we went down into the source of where this was coming from, we found a water source that leads to the entire land, and it had one of the statues in it, just like the one we destroyed inside the fire a few days before. We took it out, and when we did, the water started flowing cleanly. So far, it looks like the water's flowing cleanly everywhere else, so the crops are returning back to normal. I don't know what lasting repercussions we're going to have, but that's what we did there. We also discovered a prisoner, a dwarven prisoner, from, and I look over at Dirkia, from perhaps Dirkia's lands, who says she's trying to resurrect Lord Gallen, the man who defended Gallenmeet.
She is from my lands.
You can't resurrect the dead. Come on, guys.
You don't need to tread lightly around what has happened, Sanya. She is from my clan, and she calls me a heretic.
I wasn't
It's as
treading
simple as
lightly.
that.
I just felt it was better you say it, because if I said it, he wouldn't believe me.
Dowdrika, the dwarven female warrior who's been sort of following Glog around, is like halfway through eating a pork pie, and she turns around and says, "Well, all of this resurrected Lord Gallen sounds like rubbish to me."
Thank you for your inputs. We'll keep that in mind.
So somebody is deliberately poisoning the land. This isn't just like a sickness. This is deliberate defilement.
Once in water, once in fire. Who knows what other time it's happening? We're going back to Gallenmeet to go find the man who brought her with us.
We just got here, I think.
Yeah, but we have to go back to Gallenmeet, and then we have to go in beyond the mountains
Why must we go beyond the mountains?
to seek out the source.
The city? You referring to the city, Milo?
Is that where you think Lord Gallen is? Up in the mountains?
Lord Gallen has a shrine in the pass. We need to go there and check that out, and then
You must destroy it then.
Yeah, and if we don't find anything there, we should go to the city. And he kind of points at Rufus' cheeks to see if he's okay.
I'm probably a little cold, but otherwise okay.
I think you should eat.
I think I
haven't
should
eaten
too.
for days.
Eat, warm up in the bathhouses, drink. The ale here is actually very nice when you can drink it properly.
I mean, if you need any wine or woman or glory, I'm sure Glock can help you.
Either
That's
way,
fine.
get some rest. We leave in the morning.
Okay, I have a question. Maybe it's just me, being the kind of man that I am, that making sure we check all the corners in case of trouble. But if we've disrupted whatever's going on, we've removed a statue from the water source, correct? We've disrupted whatever's going on. Surely whoever's doing this is going to know this. Shouldn't we be on our guard? Going to the bathhouses seems like a bit, I don't know, inviting trouble.
The female dwarf told me that this Lord Gallen will rise again, but she never mentioned anybody else. By the sounds of it, he still needs to rise, and presumably by the help of either her or somebody or a group of people. I think we have a little bit of time. We probably bought ourselves some time.
As you're saying this, Dirk, here, Dowdrika sort of like shuffled her chair. She's still munching on this pork pie. Has shuffled her chair a little bit closer to you, this wooden stool she's sitting on. And in Dwarven, sort of leans across to you and in a very low, quiet voice says, What if what they were saying about your clan is true, though? What do we do then?
I asked her in Dwarvish if she belonged to any clan or if she still belongs to one.
She smiles almost sadly and then says, No, I distanced myself from my clan. I wanted to go my own way. It wasn't a very popular choice, but it beat the alternatives. I'd rather be a warrior and rely on my own strength than be forced into marriage or take up a craftsman's position just simply because of the caste I was born into.
Glarg nods.
Then that may be my fate as well. But I will worry about that in the morning. I will be drinking, bathing, fucking maybe. This is a night to remember.
Do what you will, as long as we're off in the morning.
Dowdrika says, Yes, given what Glog's told me about what went on, I wished I could have been there instead of on babysitting duty. And she like narrows her eyes and looks across at Rufus.
Yes, I also laugh at Rufus at that.
And if he's awake and alive now, he can take it back.
At which point Lord Gold starts talking. He says, Well, my friends, as I've said, it'll take us a small while to question the prisoner, but I do have other things to deal with. So please, if you wish to take any of the food or the drink here present with you, please do so with my blessing. But I'm afraid I must bid you good night. But do not worry, as I said before, your names and words of your deed will ring throughout the halls of Pondmount. There will be not a soul who doesn't know of your great deeds ere morning.
Very good.
All right, yeah, I'm going to stock up on, take some food, maybe even stock up some rations, anything that might keep for a bit.
Before
And then I will
we
seek
go,
out the bathhouses with Dad.
No problems. You can all grab yourself 5 rations worth of food, should you wish.
Cool.
I'll take 5 just in case.
I take a few.
In case
legs of
Glarg runs
chicken.
out and he gets hungry.
Exactly.
I sort of just slap them onto some kind of platter and take them with me with another big mug of beer. I'm going to head to the bathhouses.
Before
After you go on.
Before I go, I would like to speak with the stone in this castle and tell the stone to keep an eye on Aldaran and Darren.
Okay, now if I remember correctly, you don't have to make a roll to do that, do you?
No,
You can
just
speak
something
to
that
them.
happens.
Okay, so when you speak to the stone of the place, it's got a very long, slow, sort of drawn out voice when it talks to you. So like any conversation with like stones or trees or anything. That takes quite a long time. So as you start talking to the stone says, I do not normally keep an eye on anybody. Normally, I sleep. Except for when the fire comes, and then I move.
So this is important, stone friend. This dwarven creature locked within this keep is bad for the land and therefore bad for all of us. So if you could keep an eye on her.
The concerns of the stones are not the concerns of you short-lived things, but small one. I will do my best to keep an eye on those within these walls.
Thank you. And he pats the wall.
Okay, so as the night's wearing on, you're all sort of like shown out of Lord Gould's sort of big townhouse, effectively. You'll find yourself on the streets of Podmac. Glog and Dirk are like heading off to the public bathhouses. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm going to grab Rufus and help him up best I can, and I'll go, where do you want me to leave you? I'll be trying to find a good fire to sleep by.
Thank you, Rufus. I think I'm going to have a look around town since I haven't had the opportunity to yet.
No, maybe you should just rest.
I should stretch my legs if we're going to be heading to Gallenmeet for... Why are we going to Gallenmeet again?
I'll tell you tomorrow.
Okay. Just keep on your guard, Sonia. Remember, when we were in prison, the moment we let our guard down is when we're most vulnerable.
I assure you, the last thing I ever do is let my guard down around you people.
And with that, we cut scenes to Glog and Dirk enjoying the public bathhouse. It's just like a large, round stone bath, like heated by an underground spring. There's like a sort of small stone bench that people can sit on round the edge. There's a few locals enjoying the baths. It's quite steamy. There's obviously a roof over the top. It's enclosed. As you're sitting down, Dirk, you're sort of sat next to a couple of people who, from their talk, they're talking about trade and trade routes. You guess there might be merchants of some kind. As they're talking, you hear one of them say, well, it's a bad business, Saul, I tell you that. It's been devastating for the spice trade. Well, at which point the other person says, well, true enough, Raymond, true enough. Let's thank heaven for small mercies that the Blaze farm was unaffected by this plight. If it had been affected as well, God's only knows where we'd have got any food from in Podmap. The people were near to rioting as it was. True enough, Saul, true enough.
If you're talking about the taint, gentlemen, that's all been dealt with.
At which point they turn around to you and they're like, oh, that's good to know, stranger. As we say, luckily there was at least one farmhold that wasn't affected by the taint, so the town had some small stocks of food they could rely on, but obviously strict rationing had to be brought into effect, and well, people don't like that at all. People don't like being told what they can do and what they can't do. True enough, Saul, true enough.
No, but in times of jeopardy, then things must be compromised. But you don't have to worry about that anymore. The food is edible again. You can eat your fill.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it.
Chicken? And I kind of shove this platter of chicken legs.
Hey, who you calling chicken?
Not you, Glog, not you.
The merchant looks like a little bit sort of like startled that you've sort of produced like a roast chicken while you're in the bathhouse, and he's like, oh,
Well, it's just like a load of chicken legs that I took with me from the tavern, and I just had them on a platter, and I've been eating a couple, so...
Yeah, he's like, oh, thank you. And he sort of daintily like nibbles the edge of it.
I've eaten 3 already. They're fine.
Oh no!
There's a bit of gristle on one, but that was it.
It's not that I'm worried about that. Heaven knows, both myself and my colleague Saul here, we've been fine. We always put aside stocks just in case of an emergency. You know, it's the trader mindset. But well, I sometimes find I get a bit of an upset stomach, you know, if I eat while I'm bathing.
Glarg is munching on a chicken leg as well. Just know that it's solved and we solved it. So he finishes the chicken leg off. He throws the bone, burps, and then some bubbles come up in the water when he farts.
The merchant's like, he seems like sniff a bit and sort of go, and then he's like, oh well, that's good to hear. Well, I'm sure we should all be very grateful that things can get back to normal around here, and we can get on with our normal trade routes. What were you just telling me about the cliffs of Amora, Saul? Well, now I'm taking this from a second-hand source, Raymond. I don't know this directly. Like I say, my businesses don't take me anywhere near the high cliffs of Amora, but they say, and like I say, I've heard it from a secondary source, reliable though. I know the cousin of the wife of a dear friend of mine who has trade interests in the area. They say that,
oh, get on with it.
Ah, yes, of course. They say that royal ice worms have been spotted in the high cliffs of Amora. Now, I'm sure, as you know, Raymond, that these beasts are reputed to be even more savage and even more deadly than those terrible beasts that lurk in the barbaric lands of the north.
Blah. I point to the scar. I'm not wearing a shirt in the bathhouse. I point to the scar on my chest, this big circular scar that was given to me from one.
They both nod and look suitably impressed. The trader carries on and says, yes, well, apparently the dwarves of Amora are looking for someone to help clear out a particularly dangerous species of royal iceworm. They call it white fang. Apparently it's been picking off their flocks around the area. And apparently they're...
Which dwarves? Where?
The dwarves of the Amora Mountains. They're to the southwest of here.
Do I know anything about these dwarves?
Well, I'll tell you what. Make me a spout law roll.
Yeah, I thought so.
They're sleepy, grumpy, happy, dark.
Plus intelligence, yeah?
Indeed.
That'll be a 9.
Okay, so with something I've got to do something. Okay, right, no problems. Okay, you know that the dwarves of the Amora Mountains, they're particularly sort of isolationist dwarves. They don't tend to really go outside their mountain homes, although obviously you do know the high cliffs of Amoran because that's where you passed your priest initiation test. And obviously, Glog, you also know of them because you remember just after your trials to entering manhood, when you had what you considered to be a vision from Morg, that you would face a beast there that would be your ultimate challenge.
Okay. Perhaps we should seek out these dwarves.
Well, I hear they're offering a suitably handsome reward for dealing with this thing.
All the more reason.
I dare say if I had enough money to round up a small group of armed men, I might consider dabbling in it myself. My funds could do with a little bit of a boost given these lean times. Very true, Raymond, very true. So it's just
I look over his physique and judge it to be unworthy of such battles.
Oh, yeah. They're both sort of slightly pot-bellied. They've obviously not led a particularly tough life. They even seem to have manicured nails.
Ooh.
And they're just genuine.
I look at that with sort of a raised eyebrow.
Well, good for the bathtub, not good for fighting.
Mm-hmm.
It is interesting, though, that my path seems to be going from a woman who used to be part of my own clan and now onto the cliffs of where I was initiated.
Well,
Coverage planning for me.
They do say that there's no such thing as coincidence in this world and that the gods have a plan for all of us. I've never placed much stock in it myself. I like things that are a little bit more tangible, let's say.
Milo seems set on going back to Gallenmeet and dealing with this spirit. this ice worm, it sounds like a greater challenge to me.
The greatest challenge may be, but I'm curious to see what is going on there. I have
One of
not
the
been there for
traders
several years.
laughs and says, "Oh, Gallenmeet, that relic populated by country bumpkins and the dregs of society, or whatever would you want to go to such a ghastly place?"
We don't
Just
go
give a
there for
cold
pleasure.
stare.
We go there because we have to.
And the night carries on. There's a little bit more conversation, and eventually these merchants don't seem to have anything particularly else to add to the conversation. Most of it devolves into talking about trade routes and how much money they've made or what they're prospective. This is their conversation from this point on. Glog is like the most piss boring conversation you've ever heard. They don't mention any monsters, any great battles, any weapons, any soldiers, any glory. No, nothing. All they seem to be bothered about talking about is coin and comparing the benefits of various resources and how difficult it's going to be moved around based on their profit margins. So eventually you two finish up in the bathhouse, and you're making your way away from it. Obviously you've dressed again, you're making your way through Pond Mount, and as you're leaving down the sort of quite wide street outside the bathhouse, you hear what appears to be the sound of a lute playing off in one of the side streets, and you hear a slightly accented voice, a slightly foreign sounding accent, you can't really place it, and you hear a voice saying, "Hearken to my tales, friend, and I will tell you stories of daring do, heroes who lived in ages past, and heroes who still walk amongst us. Now, those of you who I have heard already mentioned cannot fail to have noticed the tower that has appeared not 2 days' ride from Pond Mount. Let me tell you the tale of Sir Oscar, the legendary holy warrior who once protected this entire town and all the lands that surround it as far as the eye can see. It is a story that begins with his blade, Ilania, the silver blade of vengeance, a blade that was said to be forged when the world was young, when Kavresh and Moog had their tempestuous affair, and from their mingling of elements, the tears of Moog were forged into a blade of purest silver that could strike fear into the heart of all evildoers. Now, the tale of how Sir Oscar came to possess it is a tale for another time, my friends. But there was a wizard who used to live to the north of here, a vain, grasping, greedy, power-hungry man, a man by the name of Jasper Searsk, and he sought to claim the very power of Kavresh as his own. And of course, brave Sir Oscar, as the defender of right and good, rode out to stop him. It's not known what happened after that, since Oscar was never seen again. But Kavresh continued to exist, so Searsk must have been stopped, and his tower vanished, never to be seen again save for one night of the year, when it would appear in that very same spot. However, those who venture there attempting to steal the wizard's secrets never return.
I throw a coin down, probably a gold piece or something quite nice, and I say to him, "What time of year is this day where the tower appears?"
Well, that's the strangest part of this tale, my generous friend. It was previously said that the tower only appeared on the night of the full moon, but that's some weeks in the future, and yet I've heard people tell that the tower is there this very night and has been for the last couple of days. I don't know what is going on there. I'm just a simple teller of tales. But if any of you here have enjoyed my tales, perhaps you will consider sparing me a small coin as a sign of your appreciation.
I've just given you a gold piece. You must prove to me this tower is there tonight.
How can he prove it? He is here, it is there, or so he claims.
There must be a view of it from somewhere.
At which point the bard looks over at you, Glog, and he's like, he almost seems to be sort of like sizing you up. He's quite a tall man. He's wearing like a red cloak and a beret with a feather sticking out of it. He's got this lute strapped over his shoulders. He's quite a, I suppose the best way of describing it would be a beautiful looking man. He's very well turned out. And as he looks at you, he says, Please forgive any impropriety, my friend, but might you be that very same warrior who was recently freed the town of Pondmount from the terrible blight that has beset it?
I am, and it is good that you sing of Oscar's tales. You can sing of mine as well. I give him a couple of coins. But this sword made of Moog's tears.
Yes.
May it be found at this tower? Where is it now?
Well, I cannot say for certain, my friend. All I can tell you, and I tell you true as I have heard it, that Sir Oscar possessed the sword, the silver sword of vengeance, when he rode out to the tower to stop Sisk in his unholy workings. Neither Sir Oscar or the sword are ever seen again. It is presumed that they fell in the tower and may lie amongst his bones to this very day.
This sword can be used to kill this ice worm. Our path is clear. Thank you, Bard.
No. But I thank you for your time and your coin. But if you may permit me, if you are venturing to the tower, I've told this story so many times, but I don't know how it ends. No one knows how it ends. I would deem it a personal honour if you would allow me to accompany you on your mission to this tower, so that I can find out how this story ends.
Of course.
And of course, I'm afraid you've missed me earlier on singing tales of your own and your companions' glory, at least as far as I know them.
Good.
I would dearly love to get some more details about your legendary deeds. I'm always looking for new tales, and people find tales of heroes who are alive in these nights to be so much more compelling than those of heroes who lived 100 years ago. After all, what do we have in common with those little-known figures? Whereas heroes, we can actually reach out and touch. We can see they move amongst us. Those are the tales that really excite people.
So I'm looking him up and down, and I say to him, I'm assuming you have a weapon as well as that violin thing.
Well, I carry a small dagger in case I need to fend off cut purses or anything like that. But I'm a simple wandering teller of tales. I carry precious little money on me. That there would be very little point in people accosting me. As he says this,
You needn't worry. There's plenty of protection. I will introduce you to some of my companions, especially a little one. He likes to speak a lot. He can probably tell you lots of tales.
Now that the bard stopped singing, all the sort of like local people who are listening have dispersed and they've gone back to their home. As the bard says, there'd be precious little point in cut purses bothering me at all. You hear a voice from the shadows say, well, I wouldn't say that. And as you watch, you see what appeared to be 8 figures stepping out of various alleyways. They're all wearing travelling cloaks, the hoods pulled down to hide their faces. You can see from the way they're walking, Glarg and Dirk here, that they obviously have some ill intent. And you can see from the moonlight shining down, a couple of them are carrying daggers in their hands.
So I'm going to immediately put this bard behind me and call the guard. Out comes my battle axe. Who wishes to die first?
Okay. What you assume might be the leader of this group, it's difficult to tell, they're all wearing fairly identical travelling cloaks, steps forward with this notched and worn dagger gleaming in the moonlight. And he says, look, all we want's the coins in that hat there. There's no need for anyone to get killed.
Is that it?
Just leave the hat and step back. You won't get hurt.
Petty muggers threatening us for coin. You're mad. Get out of here while you still have a nose.
We've been looking for some exercise tonight.
Okay.
Yes, I suppose I need to burn off all that beer I've had.
Yeah, I'd like to. I'd like to do that as one of my moves. I want to try and basically threaten him. You know,
Yeah, I'll do that
like,
as well.
Okay. Okay,
take Dirkia's advice, or you're toast.
okay, both of you make me a charisma roll.
Okay.
Well, I actually have it's a con for me. It's a what are you waiting for?
That is a 9.
Double one. Look at that.
Oh,
Okay, they look a little bit uncertain when you're sort of saying back off Dirk here, and they're sort of like, oh, armored dwarf, huge barbarian. Oh, not too sure about that. Then when Glog's like, yeah, take Dirk here's advice, and basically goes, oh, you're not worth it, they actually seem to take like a great deal of offence at that. They're like, oh, fucking country bumpkin, like coming here into our town acting like he owns the fucking place. Well, which you, Glog, you're like, oh, they're getting ready for a fight. They're obviously a bit, because this isn't going to be for themselves. But as you finish speaking, they fan out to surround you, and they start sort of moving in with their daggers.
Sure, yeah. Who's first? I'm going to attack the closest one, or the one that I think is probably the most vulnerable. Sure, yeah. I will do. Oh, look at this. Oh, not bad. 10.
Roll your damage.
So, I was doing my damage wrong before. Now I'm going to do it right. Look at that. 15 damage.
Okay.
Oh.
Pretty much, Glog, you like decimate the first thief that gets anywhere near you. So feel free to describe how you like messily take him out with your axe.
So they start fanning out, getting ready to fight, and before they're even fully in position, I just come up and I just step in and slice one guy's arm completely off, and he just falls over bleeding. And I look around for the next target.
Okay, the thief you've just sliced, he like falls down with like one of his arms cut off at the elbow, and he's like, oh god, oh! There's like blood like spraying everywhere, because as we've discovered on previous situations, Glog's not exactly one for the finesseful combat. You just wade in, you're like, that's you dealt with, son, while he's like lying on the ground like screaming, trying to hold his arm so that his face going pale from blood loss. Okay,
is that worth those coins?
What do you do, Durko?
I look at another one that's got its dagger out, and I laugh and said, I can open an envelope with that. I'll smash it to smithereens. And I just rush forward. I'm going to sort of raise my hammer in that sort of style and essentially try and blow his hand off.
Okay, one thing to strike you as odd is as you run forward, Durkee, you see that like the bard who's like between you and Glog, sort of like taking the most sheltered position, he doesn't look scared at all. You see he's actually got like a quill out and like a little piece of parchment, and he's like scribbling stuff down on this parchment while you guys are fighting.
Okay, I look at him and just think in my head, wow, he's really dedicated to stories.
He looks at you and like emails back, and he's like, this is amazing.
Anyway, so
thumbs up.
I try and ignore it and just go for this guy's hand or wrist or whatever. And
make your hack and slash roll.
Smash it off. 8.
Okay. So
no, it's plus strength, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's 11. 11 then.
Okay, roll your damage.
Yep. 1.
Okay, you've minorly injured one of these thieves. Can you make me a dex roll, please?
Yes. Double 1.
Okay,
So
mark an
3.
XP. Okay, so you deliver your damage, so describe how your attack goes. You've only done a little bit of damage.
Okay, so I just get the angle wrong, so I'm assuming he manages to kind of dodge his hand out of the way, and instead I manage to just catch him on the bottom of his arm, which will obviously cause him some bruising, if not a fracture of some kind.
Indeed, however, in your attack, you've overextended yourself slightly, and he actually grabs hold with his other hand of your weapon arm, and he jabs a dagger up under your armpit into your chest, and you take 5 wounds of damage. Minus whatever armor you've got.
Dirty, the bastard.
He's a thief.
Yeah, true.
Okay, Glog.
I'm assuming like there's shouts and everything going on in the street. It won't be long before others
Yeah,
are showing
as
up.
he's writing, the bard is like, God! 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 You notice like his hand never stops moving on this parchment, scratching away with his quill, even as he's shouting.
So as the last guy I fought is dying with the blood pouring out of him, I'm just going to go up to the next guy and sweep my axe into him. Another 10.
Roll that damage.
Yep. And it is 7.
Okay, so as this one that's just like stabbed Dirk under the armpit pulls his knife out, you see blood like staining Dirk's chin. Like, you basically step forward and end this person. Describe how that occurs. You need to unmute yourself.
Sorry. Just as he pulls the dagger back out of Dirkia, I bring my axe down and chop off like his forearm, both forearms in half. He just like...
Okay, not a problem. You just see, as you're sort of falling back at it, Dirk, you just see Glog step forward and just like decimate this guy who's just stabbed you, leaving just like a greasy smear on the floor, pretty much. What do you do, Dirk?
Okay, so I kind of nurse my armpit just for a moment, since it's my weapon arm. Is there one left, did you say, or were there 2 still?
Well, originally there were 8 of them. 2 of them have been killed, so there are 6 of them left.
Fair enough. Okay, in that case, I go for another one's head.
Go for it. Make that hack and slash.
Okay, so 9.
Okay, roll your damage.
Another 1! What the fuck?
Okay, so basically, as you move in you strike a glancing blow on one of these thieves. He also slices you shallowly across your forehead, causing you 1 wound, and the 2 of you pretty much tumble to the ground, like locked together, like wrestling each other back and forth, neither able to land a decisive blow on each other. Glog. What do you do, Glog? It seems Glog's basking in the glory of his previous kill for a few moments. So, Dirk, can you please make me a Defy Danger roll based on your strength? As you and this thief are like rolling around on the floor, like wrestling backwards and forwards.
I'm assuming.
That's like the 4th one I've had. Okay, I've got 10 in total.
Okay, roll your damage. How did you do, Glog?
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I'd cut out.
It's
That's
fine.
4.
I presume you went for the hack and slash, Glog, so just tell me what your damage was.
Yep, so I did 4 damage that time. I got another hit, but I did only 4 damage.
Both Glog and Dirk, you have both killed the thieves that you were fighting, leaving 4 of them left. You notice they're starting to like back off a bit now because you've like killed half their number.
That's half. How badly do you want these coins?
You notice they back off a few more steps and then literally they like turn around and start running away through the small alleyways.
I'm throwing a dagger at one's back.
Yeah, not a problem. If you want to kill one of them with a thrown dagger, describe how that happens. It's not a problem.
Okay, yeah.
Roll for it.
So yeah, these guys are scum. I mean, I'm not one to attack people in the back, but they were warned. They were stupid, challenging us in the first place, and deserved of death. So I just whip one. They're running away, and I just whip one, and it catches the guy right in the back of the neck, and he just pitches forward. Maybe spurring the others on to run faster. I don't know.
Okay, Rufus. You're walking through the streets, having a look around merry old Pond Mount, as you've previously described, and you're walking past an alleyway when you see a young woman like running out of this alleyway. The travelling cloak she's wearing, like the hood's fallen back, and you recognise the woman who seemed to recognise like the thieves' sign that was on the side of the butcher shop previously. She seems to be like she's like looking behind her, like running away. She actually like runs into you. So bumps backwards a bit, and she seems just about to say something when there's this and this just dagger just comes out of the alleyway, like embeds in the back of her head, and she pretty much like falls into your arms.
Rufus, obviously, Rufus can't be surprised, but this is somewhat disconcerting, to say the least. As he catches this youngish, oldish woman, I don't know.
She's in her sort of early 20s, from the look of her.
Is she instantly dead from with a glance?
Yeah, pretty much this dagger's like gone in the back of her skull and come out the front.
Oh, messy.
She's deader than tank tops.
He'll catch her in a way that's it's half protective, but also kind of like trying to protect himself from a follow-up attack or whatever's through that thing.
Yeah, no problem. You sort of
back away. He'll back away with her.
And you basically sort of like hold her and like lower her to the ground a bit, but you can see like her eyes are already starting to like glaze over. She's obviously dead. As you watch, you see what appeared to be another sort of 3 people wearing these travelling cloaks, like running out of side streets, sort of like jumping over barrels and crates, just like desperate to get away from something.
Huh. I'll close her eyes respectfully and sort of mumble to myself. Some a dagger in the dark catches us all one day.
As she falls to the ground, you notice like her fist appears to be tightly closed around something. As you like lower her to the ground and you close her eyes.
It would be rude not to, wouldn't it? I'm going to unfold that hand and see what's inside.
You unfold the hand and you see she appears to have a single copper-coloured coin in her hand, and on the coin, written in the thieves' sign, is the word answer.
Answer?
Indeed.
Does that signify anything to me, John? In terms of like,
it's the word
like
answer.
Yeah, I know, but on the coin, is that the kind of thing I'd give to someone? Like in that sort of thing. That's what I mean. Like,
maybe a
what would someone do on
roll,
this?
my friend?
Is this a plus whiz thing?
It's a roll plus intelligence.
Intelligence. Oh, why you got to be like that? So that's 6, 7 -1, so it's 6, John.
Okay. You think this thing might have some significance. You know that a lot of sort of thieves' organisations, they don't tend, if they go for sort of items with enchantments on, they don't intend to be like big flashy things like avenging swords or mighty suits of armour. They tend to be small, easily concealable, useful things. But beyond that, you're not really sure. You've never seen one of these before.
I'm gonna take the coin then and try and maybe climb onto a roof or something to try and make myself as unseen as possible to see if someone comes to investigate the body.
Not a problem.
Whoever threw that dagger.
You scramble up onto the roof, and from your vantage point, you can actually see in the sort of clearing further down the alleyway from where this woman came running, you can see Dirkir and Glog stood there with a fairly beautiful looking man wearing this red beret with a feather out of it that you don't really recognise. Dirkir and Glog, after you've dealt with these vagabonds, what are you guys doing?
I'm going to...
I'll take a look at the wound on my armpit.
I'll glance over your Dirk. Yeah, see he's not very badly hurt. I'm going to look at the bard, see that he's not very hurt. And then at a casual pace, I'm going to go retrieve my dagger.
Not a problem. So from what you see that from where you're perched on top of the nearby building, Rufus, you watch Glog walk over to the woman where she's lying, and he puts a boot on her and pulls his dagger out. Dirk is obviously nursing a wound.
I'll wipe it on a cloak, put it back in my sheath.
The fellow you don't recognise, Rufus, the bard, has turned to you, Dirk, and he's like, "Well, I must say I was thrilled as I am to be able to accompany you and chronicle your deeds. I did not expect in my wildest dreams that you would get to work so quickly. You've already saved me from those cut purses. What a tale I can weave of this. And I was actually in the tale. This is fantastic."
Whatever makes you happy, but you said that dagger could kill cut purses. Not 8 of them, I don't think. You're welcome.
Well, no, I am pleased. And he's like, words are tumbling over themselves. He's so excited. He's like, Please forgive me. Of course, thank you. I just get so wrapped up in these tales that to actually be even a small part of one, it's like a dream come true for me. And I mean, of course, I'm no warrior. I'm simply a humble chronicler of tales. But to see people such as yourself, my friend, and this mighty man mountain here in action was a rare privilege, and I do thank you both from the bottom of my heart.
I'll nod.
He says,
Well,
in
like
all
I said,
my
you couldn't have killed them all.
in all my years as a teller of tales, growing up on the streets of Vinras, I've never had the privilege to actually be involved in a tale, and I know it didn't help. Of course, all of the glory and the honour, of course, belongs to the two of you. But I consider it a privilege to have been an observer of the events that occur, and I cannot wait to chronicle future deeds of yours.
Fine. Come along. We'll inform the others we're heading to the tower in the morning.
Okay, as you guys are heading out to the streets, like a patrol of guard have started to gather. They see you sort of around the body. They see you walking out to the street. You recognise one of the guards who was on the sort of the gate of the town when you approached, and he looks up at you and he says, "Well, I was going to say if anyone had got hurt, but it's the two of you, so I'm sure these miscreants," and he boots the dead body on the floor. "I'm sure they were no challenge to people such as yourselves."
Not really.
I nod.
Well, we'll get the body cleaned up and we'll get all the paperwork dealt with. Don't worry about that.
I wasn't.
He looks up at you, Glog, sort of nods, and he's like, "Self-defense, was it?"
Of course, we gave them a chance to run. They wanted to rob this man.
Well, open and shut case then. Right, you heard them, boys. Get the body cleared up and taken out. We can see if they've got any family or anything what they want to do with it. Failing that, we'll just burn it. Can't be too careful in times like these. Well, thanks for doing us a service.
Well, I'm going to go and seek out the rest of my companions, tell them about the change in plans.
Okay, not a problem. So, Sanya and Milo, what are the two of you up to at this point in time?
Well, before Rufus left, Milo told him about the coin they got and showed him the chest and told him that Clark took a handful and this is gold for Rufus. And he hopes that since Rufus has been unconscious from the shock from the vision or the vicious attack from the orc, that this might elevate his mood since he seems to like coin.
So before you left, Rufus, Milo gave you 100 coins.
Oh my word, he shouldn't have. That definitely would have improved Rufus's mood somewhat.
Well, indeed.
However, seeing his companions brutally cut down a bunch of people has put him in somewhat of a somber mood.
Well, that's why you were walking around town. You were like, "I've got coin to burn. I'm feeling a lot better.
spend.
I'm out on the town. Let's live it." Oh wait, a dead woman's like staggered out into my arms and died with like Glog's dagger sticking out of the back of her face. Oh yeah, that's probably the dampener on the evening joie de vivre. Okay.
Had the opposite effect on Glarg.
Oh yeah, Glog's loving life.
Ooh.
Okay, so that
Other
happened.
than that, Milo has been up on the what I call the space between the roof and the ceiling.
The rafters.
No, the attic. Is there attic here?
Oh yeah, the attic. Well, there is an attic, but you've in Lord Gould's place. But basically, you've all been sort of chivied out of the door. It's sort of like, you know, thanks for your help, but I do need to get some sleep now. I hope you have a good night. Yeah, come back in the morning. We'll have questioned the prisoner.
Okay. Well, he got out and turned into a raven and flew up there anyway. And he's been hanging out there, talking to the animals living up there. That's how he has spent his time.
Okay, that's Absolutely fine. So, Sanya, for your immolator self, what have you been up to?
Oh, I'd have probably gone back to the local inn if there was a place like that. Any place that's got a nice big fire, and I'd be sitting in front of it, just warming my hands.
Okay.
Just keep myself warm as best as I can.
So, Rufus, you've been wandering about for a bit. Eventually, you find your way to this tavern. You see Sanya's pretty much got like his feet up on a table. He's in a chair. There's a nice roaring fire in the hearth. And he's just like, relax next to this fire. And you walk into the tavern, Rufus. You see Sanya relaxing. What do you do?
Is it just Sanya at the moment, or is it all everyone?
It's just Sanya at the moment.
Sanya. I'll come sit next to my old pal.
I'll bristle up a little bit when I see Rufus come next to me, but then I'll just sort of relax and just get used to it. But I won't talk to him directly.
Have the fires been talking to you again?
I wish you would stop with that joke. I don't consider flames to be funny.
Hey, if I could talk to flames, I would. But I think they would call me crazy. But I don't think you're crazy, Sanya.
I'm glad you don't, because I know I do. You don't go through what I've gone through while keeping yourself sane.
Exactly. Do you want a drink? I got coin to burn.
No, nothing for me. Have something for yourself. I've already eaten.
Okay.
I just want to sit by this fire and be left alone for a while.
I'm going to say, Milo, from where you're perched in the sort of attic space of this building, you've seen like through the window out across the square to where the tavern is. You've obviously know Sanya's gone to the tavern. You know he likes to spend his time chilling by the fire, which is why you tend not to relax in the same sort of space as you, not being a very big fan of fire, Milo. But as you're sort of watching, you obviously see Rufus head across from another street and head into the tavern as well.
Okay. From what little he has learned about Sanya is that Sanya likes to be alone. And Sanya likes fire, and Milo is not a fan of fire. But he will keep an eye down there, because now that Rufus turned up, there's bound to be some trouble going on soon.
I look over at Rufus and I go, it's quite strange. I spent the most part of my youthful years trying to get away from places with fire. And now I've found myself out in the real world again. I can't help but be drawn back to it. It's like a disease I can't get away from. I'm constantly cold. I'm constantly shivering. All I want to do is just stay warm. It's not very nice.
Perhaps it's because the fire, even though you avoid it, is kind of an old friend. It's been in your life for so long now.
But you could say the same thing like it was a disease, like a cancer that's eating me apart. Every time I use the flames, I can feel it waning more and more. I get colder and colder with every passing day. It won't be long. Eventually, I'll burn myself out.
Well, you're in a fantastic mood today, Sanya.
Have I ever been in a fantastic mood?
At least you didn't get hit. At least you didn't get hit like this, and you show this the sort of messy scar. The fire protects its own, right?
I sort of look over at him. So actually, go on.
I was going to say, Rufus, as Sanya says, every day I get colder and colder. At some point, the fire's going to burn me out. You feel almost like a slight vibration from one of your many pouches on your belt, Rufus. The pouch that you dropped the copper coin into.
Sorry, I'm muted, aren't I?
Yep.
Is it the coin that I got earlier by any chance?
It is, the very same copper coin.
I'm going to pull it out and have a look at it.
Okay, so as you're talking, Sanya, and you're like bearing your soul, Rufus seems to get like a little bit distracted, reaches into one of his pouches, and he takes out this shiny copper-coloured coin with some like weird symbols on it that mean nothing to you.
So I'm like, it doesn't matter how far I get from what the devil is that?
Oh, it's just a coin.
Just a coin?
Yeah, you don't need to worry about it. And I'll show him it. Because I know you won't understand what's on it. Let's see.
Okay, he passes you this shiny copper-coloured coin, sort of written in like a spiral on it. There's some
Joke's on
strange
me.
symbols. It doesn't
Big
appear to
thieves'
have
cant.
like the head of like a local ruler or any of the signs you'd associate with like a normal coin on it. Just this weird sort of script.
Did you pickpocket someone again? We've only been in town a day.
Well, does it count as pickpocketing if they're dead?
Yes, it counts as.
I'd call it scavenging, to be honest.
I pass it back to him and go, just don't get me in any more trouble.
I'll tell you something. I learned something valuable today.
What?
Don't steal from Glag. Oh, this wasn't from Glag, by the way. No, I'd be dead. But the person who
I've
took
changed
it.
my mind. I'd like to be left alone now.
He pulls out another coin purse.
What's
This
it?
is from Clark.
And then he's like
Why
pulls a
don't
pair
you
of
go-
boxer shorts and he's like, and these are from the guard captain.
Yeah. Booyah. Sanya,
Yes.
just out of curiosity, while we're sat by your flame buddy, if this coin had some kind of, I don't know, what's it called? Enchantment? Could you tell?
Pass it here.
I'll just pass it back over.
I look at the flames and I look at the ring, the thing again, and I'll hold up the coin over the fire, and I'll look through the fire to look for answers concerning the coin.
Okay, make your roll to consult the flames.
All right, so here we go.
You are dialing Flames 101.
And the flames say 6, 7, 8. On a 7 to 9, the gem will give you an impression.
Okay, you gain an impression that these weird symbols on the coin, they're very slightly different on one side to the other. You gain the idea that it's not so much just the word answer. It means like a question being answered. And you get a sense that there's like a minor enchantment on it.
I look through and I go, the fire says there's something with this. It's not an answer. It's almost like it's the question that's being asked. I do sense some kind of power, but I can't tell you more.
I'll take the coin
I'm
back.
not very versed in this.
For once, I would agree with your Flames. I've seen these before, back before I met you, or anyone that we're traveling with. But this one's slightly different.
Well, if you really do care, we could try and ask someone around town, see if anyone knows anything about it.
I'm not sure that's a good idea.
Is that because you stole it from someone who's dead?
No, it's more so that the people you would ask would probably not take kindly to me asking.
Ah. Well, with that in mind, why don't you just simply sell it and move on?
Because
If you
the
don't know what it is, doesn't matter.
person that owned this coin looked like they had a problem with us. So maybe there's a connection, maybe there's not. I'm just thinking.
Rufus, I'm terribly sorry. But could you start again?
Sorry. I mean, when you spend your life skulking around the streets and trying not to be seen, you kind of get into the habit of not showing your hand. Okay, we're friends, Sonia. I'm sorry.
Yes, friends, that is what we are.
Yes, that's what we. I found this on someone that Glag had killed. I don't think Glag is aware that I know this, but it seems like whatever this coin is about is connected to us, because it seems like they were trying to start a fight with us. Maybe I don't think anyone would accidentally get into a disagreement with Glag. I think Dirkie was there as well. Did I see all of them, John? Or just Glag?
You saw Glog, Dirkir, and this young, handsome-looking man with the red beret that you didn't recognise.
You know, you try asking Glog. Maybe he knows more.
I don't think Glag would know what this coin is about.
All right, well, check with Dirk here.
I don't think Dirkie
Check
would
with
know either.
anyone not me.
As you say this, the door opens again, and Glog and Dirkir, with this handsome young man with the red beret and the cloak, as I've described previously, walk into the tavern where you're all staying. As you're walking in, you can hear this excited sounding young man. He's talking to Glog, asking him like loads of questions, and he's like, "Now, unless I miss my guess, my glorious friend, you're of the Snowcrest tribes, is that correct?"
Well, we're not called the Snowcrest tribe. We're actually the Elk tribe, but I do come from Snowcrest.
Apologies, forgive me. The legends from your homelands are a little thin on the ground. But forgive me if I'm asking you a lot of questions, but I always like to know more things to embellish my tales and reflect the true glory of the heroes involved in them. Now, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard it said that each of the Snowcrest tribes is led by a great shaman, but I've not heard any more information about them. What sort of powers they have, what sort of abilities they have, how they command. What can you tell me about them? And he pulls up his parchment.
They are not exactly the leader. We have leaders, a leader, but the shaman is well respected in the tribe. They are predictors of weather, of game patterns, of when we move, where we should move to next, where game will be most plentiful.
Oh, fascinating. And I'm led to believe that your people worship Morg. Is that correct?
Who else is there?
Well, I'm not a religious man. I couldn't possibly say. But now we often find in the tales gods appearing to their faithful in many different guises. Has Morg ever appeared to anyone in your tribe? Has he ever shown his face?
He does not have a physical form like that. He makes his presence known in the weather and in granting boons to the weather, favorable when it needs to be and harsh when it should be. He brings the sun and he makes his presence obvious all the time. Look about you.
Oh, this is absolutely fascinating. Thank you, mate. You can mark 2 XP, Rob. Absolutely.
I'm going to walk towards Rufus.
Glog walks over towards where Sanya and Rufus are relaxing by the fire. Well, I say relaxing. Sanya was relaxing until Rufus came in and started talking about his coin.
There's a change of plans. We're going north. This bard, I don't even know his name. I mean, I know it, but he's going to be joining us. Tell them why we're going north.
He says, well, I'm pleased to introduce myself. My name's Buffkin, at your service, gentlemen. And going north, my friend.
Tell them of Oscar, of the sword, of the tower.
Yes, of course. Sorry, I was still going over your heroic deeds of the last half hour. Right, well, as I was telling your friend,
I'm going to go quickly grab another drink while he's talking.
No problem. He pulls up a chair, sits down. He's got his lute strung over his back. He says, "Well, I was telling your friend the tale of Sir Oscar, a noble and holy warrior, blessed of the gods, who used to protect this land and all the lands as far as the eye can see around Pondmount. It's also the story of Jasper Sursk, a vain and grasping sorcerer, greedy for power, who sought to steal the very power of Kovresh and overthrow him. Now, obviously that didn't succeed, but Sir Oscar rode out to prevent him in his unholy workings, and was never seen again, nor him nor his mighty sword. He rode to Sursk's tower, which is a couple of days to the north of here, or it was originally, and it's said that Kovresh cursed Jasper Sursk for his avarice, for his greed and his lust for power, by banishing his tower from this world, only to return for a brief period on the night of the full moon, to taunt him with a world that he could no longer act on and influence. But I've heard it said, I don't know how true it is, I've heard it said by some of the people from the more outlying clans that the tower has been seen, and has been seen for the last 2 days, which is quite out of character. It's supposed to only appear briefly.
Yes, that is where we will go. We will claim this sword made of the tears of Moog, and then we will fight this ice worm the dwarves wish defeated.
I have questions. Starting with, is it on the way to Gallenmeet?
More or less.
How many days would take us offline? A day? Maybe half a day?
Well, if you're travelling to Gallenmeet, says Buffkin, it will take you no more than a day out of your journey if the location is correct. Like I say, I'm only going on what I've heard from people from the outlying farms that moved into the centre of Podmount when the Blight devastated their lands. I'm sure they'll all be returning now, thanks to your heroic efforts to stop the Blight.
Imagine what knowledge you could uncover at this tower. And a weapon made of the tears of Moog. I can't pass up such an opportunity.
I think that's perfectly fair. If you, I'll look around, go. If the others wish to go, then I'm not one to stop you. I'm far more interested in a curse of someone of Corvus cursing someone to be in the tower for some sword or whatever reason. That seems more interesting to me. You can do with a blade what you will.
Buffkin says, well, yes, of course, the Jasper Sirsk was supposedly cursed for his attempts to steal Kovresh's power. He was, from what I gather from the legends, he was sealed in his tower and banished from this world, effectively imprisoned forever, as far as I know. That's what the tales tell me, anyway.
Yes, he's found a way to break Kovresh's curse by turning up. This all seems like a strange story that I've never heard of, but if it's just a day out of our way, I see no reason not to go look. If anything, it'll keep Glog happy.
Rufus thinks, like, he momentarily thinks about bringing up that no one's told him why they're going to Gallenmeet. So he's kind of like, he raises his hand as if he's going to ask a question, but then he thinks, tower? Gold? Lost artifacts? Ancient legends? If this is true, this could be quite lucrative. He sits back down. I'm in.
As you're speaking and you say, I'm in, Rufus, the bard sort of leans on the table, he looks at you and he says, forgive the question, my friend, your accent, you're from Vinras, aren't you?
Oh, well spotted, sir. Yes, I am.
Well,
although it's been some time since I've been there.
What a remarkable coincidence. I hail from Vinras myself, although it's been a few years since I've been back there to the homeland.
Oh.
And he holds a hand out. He's wearing like red travelling gloves.
I'll shake him with a hand that's not holding the coin. Pleased to meet you. What brings you this far out into the middle of nowhere? I'm
a collector of tales of heroic and stirring deeds. I go where the tales take me. That's why I was fortuitous enough to run into your friends here, who saved me from a most horrible fate, a robbery at the hands of vile miscreants.
Well, I would feel sorry for anyone who fell foul of trying to rob Glarg.
Indeed, as would I.
4 did.
Indeed, they were felled quicker than the sturdiest woodsman could fell the newest and most green of saplings.
I know.
If this is all right with you, gentlemen, I would like to be left alone. I'm currently trying to keep myself warm, if that's all right.
Okay.
Would you like me to get you a blanket?
No, I'm fine. The fire will do.
How about some food? Sorry, Rob.
I'm going to say the table we're sitting at is kind of like a picnic table. Do they have those in the UK? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Like a normal wooden table?
A picnic table. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay, so I'm going to say the table we're sitting at is like that. I pick up the whole table, and I just move it about 15 feet away from where Sandy is, and I set it down again, and then I set down again. So there, now he's got his privacy.
John, is it cool if Milo talked to some rats at the place? And he got them through Parley to keep an eye on Darren in exchange for sausages and cheese.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Okay, so he will take a few with him over to the inn to purchase some cheese and some sausage.
Okay, so as you're having this conversation, the door opens again, and Milo walks in. He's got like a rat sat on each of his shoulders, and one on his head.
You log in and look around, and based on the orc's head, you'll guess that the wooden counter is where you purchase food in this place too. So you will go over to the counter.
You walk over to the counter. There's a fairly sort of middle-aged woman stood behind the counter, and she's like, "Oh, hello there, little master. What can I do for you?"
Hello. I like some cheese and some sausage for my friends here.
She sort of like looks around you as you like, "My friends," and she's like, "Your friends, little master?"
Yeah.
Well, it's your coin. It's none of my business what you're spending on it. How much cheese you be wanting? Do you want a nice bit of bread with that?
Give us a loaf or two.
You
I'm
hear
still
Dirk
hungry.
like, shout over, "Give us a loaf, I'm still hungry." Oh,
Yeah.
Hold on a minute, young master. I'll be over
Okay.
momentarily.
Yeah. If you take some down to him too, but if I could get some in a bundle, some links and maybe half a cheese or something.
Of course, that'll only cost you a couple of coins, sir. I'm afraid it's not the freshest cheese. It's obviously times being hard, but it's hard cheese. But
Okay, as long as it's not tainted.
well, no.
He takes up his bag and takes out a halfling's size halfling fistful of coins and put them on the counter.
Okay, you
Will
chuck
this do?
3 coins on the counter. She leans over and says, "Oh, I only need 2 of those, little master." And she slides you the 3rd coin back, takes the 2. She disappears into the back room, comes out with like a little sort of like handkerchief, like wrapped up with like a bundle of this hard cheese in it, and goes, "There you go, little master.
Thanks.
I hope
He takes that.
your friends enjoy it."
Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you.
Well, that's all right. I'll be in a moment, just bringing your bread over, young master. And she brings some bread over to yourself as well, Dirk.
He
Oh.
goes. Milo will go over to where Dirk is sitting.
Okay, yeah, Milo trots over to you.
Ah, nice to see you again. How are you feeling?
Okay. I got this. These guys keeping an eye on the dwarf in the dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing, weird happens. Or if something weird happens, we will know.
I hate the word if. Call me a pessimist, but I'm thinking more like when something happens.
Milo just nods. So I'll just be over there. Like if you need me, you can just whistle out the door. Okay.
We're not going to Gallenmeet anymore.
Oh.
We're not?
Well, not directly. We're stopping at the tower first.
Oh, you had me worried there for a moment. Yes, I am very interested in this tower.
Okay.
You can ask Buffkin about it. It's a long tale and it's too many words for me.
I mean, I'm game to go if it really exists. That is, it is a legend after all.
As they say, Buffkin, the fairly handsome gentleman with the red cloak and the red beret, leans down to you and he says, "A pleasure to make your acquaintance, sir." And he holds out a hand to you, Milo.
Right, Milo will reach up. Hello, I'm Milo.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
This little one, don't let his size... Don't underestimate it. He is more capable than his size would suggest.
Well, as the tales teach us, my friend, even a small dagger in the most skilled of hands can be a deadly weapon.
Rufus blanches a little at that. Also, John, just as this is going on, Rufus is going to be keeping a look at this guy's movements. He's trying to gauge since he doesn't know him, and he's only just met him. He's trying to gauge how competent this guy is.
What, in terms of like combat, or
Yeah, like his movements. Like, is he hiding something from us in that sense? Is he like more capable than he's letting on?
Make me a discern realities roll, please, Rufus.
Yeah. Now, I need to ask one question when I do this. I mean, you can tell me if this isn't applicable or not, but I do have my human trait, and I don't know if this applies in this situation. I don't know the guy's background.
Okay.
But it says I get a +1 in any kind of criminal activities roll.
It doesn't
don't
apply
know if
in this situation.
doesn't apply, right? Obviously, if he is hiding something, maybe it does. So I'm just
So it's a
checking.
wisdom roll.
Wisdom coming up. 4.
Saying it doesn't apply is the kind of thing he would say if he was trying to hide something, though. So
Okay, you can mark an XP for that, Rufus.
Yeah. Okay.
However, obviously, you're not quite as subtle in your appraisal of him as you'd intended, and he Buffkin quite blatantly notices you checking him out, and he says,
Are you a friend of Clark? Oh, sorry.
Buffkin sort of he looks a bit distracted. He leans over to you, Rufus, and then says, "If there's anything you'd like to discuss, or you'd like to hear some of my tales, or perhaps something else, I'm sure we can talk about this later."
Possibly. I would certainly like to know the kind of the people we're traveling with.
He leans over to you and sort of lowers his voice both in volume and pitch, and he says, "As I said, it's been a long time since I've been in Vinras, and much as I enjoy these lands and the people in them, they're a little bit stuffy and a little bit set in their ways, a little bit inflexible, if you know what I mean."
Yeah, I think I do.
He lays a hand on yours and sort of like squeezes your hand ever so slightly, and then says, sort of pats your hand and says, "Oh, good, I'm glad we understand." And then he hears Milo saying, "Are you a friend of Glarg's?" He turns around with a big smile on his face and says, "Well, I would not be so bold as to consider myself a friend of such a mighty warrior. I'm simply a humble chronicler of tales who's been lucky enough to witness the brave deeds of these two people," and he points at Durkin and Glarg, "first hand, and I've been lucky enough that they've said that I can accompany them on their trip to the tower. Since I only know the start of the legends about the tower, I'd dearly love to know what happened to Sir Oscar and to know how the tale ends."
Oh. Well, can't you just make up an ending?
As you say that, he sort of like reels back a bit as though you've like smacked him in the face, or like a look of like absolute horror on his face, and he's like, "Surely you can't be suggesting that I should just simply invent the end to a tale? I'd be a disgrace to my profession, my little friend. No, that simply wouldn't do at all. I admit I may sometimes embellish a tale just to give it more of a flow in the narrative, but it's important that at the heart of every tale there's a kernel of truth."
Oh.
You are certainly a very enthusiastic human, and that is very inspiring.
Well, my dwarven friend, in Vinras, where I come from, I'm sure you've probably heard that we're godless heathens, and we have no time for the gods of other lands. Now, that may or may not be true. I can't speak for everyone in my home city, but we like to take a wider view of things. If you tell me that you follow one of the gods, I have no issue with that whatsoever, and I would happily tell your tale and the tales of the gods. But as I have said, I only report things that I have heard from reliable sources or tales that have been told many times. I have no direct experience of the gods myself, therefore I can't really speak to them. We're a little bit more, and he sort of shoots a sidelong glance at Rufus when he says this, liberal in Vinras.
You've just reminded me I should probably speak to my own god before we venture to this tower.
Which when he like leans forward, his eyes fell like bulging out of his head. He's like, you commune directly with one of the gods?
Of course, did you not see my pendant? I'm a worshipper of Kavresh.
Well, yes, of course I saw that, and I know many tales of Kavresh, but as I've said, I don't like to assume things. Now, if this is a private thing for you, I entirely understand, but I would consider it a great honour if you would let me observe your ritual. I've heard many tales about those who follow Kavresh, but I've never actually seen anyone call on him.
He would see that Buffkins would see that Durkee would look a bit uncomfortable by that, and he says to him, "I will let you witness one of my rituals, but at a later time when my relationship with my god is more consistent, shall we say, when I know more about what is going on between him and the other dwarfs of my clan."
Of course. Thank you, and please forgive my excitement, but I've spent a good few months in Pondmount, and most people hear about that they're good people, they're honest, hard-working people, but their tales are simple ones of working the land, struggling to survive. They're not the great deeds, the stories of heroism that people of this world need to inspire them, to help them get through their hard lifestyles. Having so many heroes around me, it's intoxicating now, I won't lie. And he sort of goes.
With that, Milo trots off to feed the rats.
Okay, not a problem. The rats are like running up and down your arms as you're like pulling this cheese out of the little bundle you've been given. So they're obviously being quite friendly to you. They're sort of scampering all over you, which you don't mind at all. Nibbling the cheese, you're like feeding them little bits of bread and cheese out of your hands. Okay.
And that's how the Great Rat Plague started in
Indeed.
Ponsmount.
So, as the night draws on apace, is there anything anyone else would like to do before you all bed down for the evening?
Well, yes, I want to have a little chat with my god.
Not a
Best to
problem.
be like, what the fuck is going on with this heretic woman and blah blah blah, and what would you have me do with this tower and divine guidance?
Make your roll if you have to make one.
Well, I was just actually deciding whether to go for divine guidance or the Orison for guidance. I don't have to make any rolls for either of them. One of them is some useful knowledge or boon related to my deity's domain. The other one is what I would have me do. So yeah, I'll go for Orison for guidance. So that just means that I have to sacrifice something of value.
What are you sacrificing?
I will sacrifice some more of my coin that I was given by the Dwarf Lord.
How much of your coin?
I'll go with 25.
Okay, and what is it you're actually sort of thinking about asking Kavresh as you're attempting this communion?
I think the most important thing for Dirk here at the moment is this accusation of the woman who told him that Kavresh is nothing and that she doesn't follow him anymore and none of the clan does anymore. He wants to know about the clan essentially and where they are, how they are feeling, I guess, and if they are all right.
Okay, and are you doing your communion in like the hearth fire of the main hall, or are you waiting till you get back to your room?
No.
At the tavern?
No, I'll do somewhere private.
Okay, not a problem. So you're sat in your room, there's like a small lamp, there's obviously not like a big hearth fire, but you drop the coin into the lamp, and as you do, even though the lamp's really not hot enough to melt metal, it runs like liquid into a small silvery pool on the table, and slowly you begin to perceive the outline of a face in this molten metal. And the face says, "Know this, Durkee of the fallen clan of Hammerfall. Your kin have turned away from the warm light of Kavresh to embrace the darkness. They are lost to us, all save a few.
Will I be able to get any of them back?
That is up to you.
I sort of turn away a bit and think on that moment. I presume that the face disappears, or does it
It does
stay?
indeed. The face disappears.
My path will unfold before me within several days. And at that, he goes to bed.
Okay, not a problem. So you guys all rest up for the night. You wake the next morning. There are a few cocks crowing. The sun is rising in the sky. The people of Pondmount starting to get up and go about their business. There's a slightly more cheery air about the town. There's obviously the news that the blight has been stopped, has sort of spread like wildfire amongst the people. You see that people have got a bit more of a sort of spring in their step as they're going about their business. The people from the outlying farms, yes, you do all get half your health back. The people from the outskirt farms who'd come back into the centre of Pondmount because their lands were fallow with the blight have slowly started drifting off and returning to their farmsteads, hoping that they can salvage something, perhaps before the real harshness of midwinter kicks in.
I will rise up and I'll make sure, well, I mean, after the fire's gone down, I'll sort of go outside and sort of start getting my pack ready for us to leave. Because it's morning and we need to start going as soon as we can, since we're doing a detour.
Yeah. I have a quick breakfast. I kind of guzzle down something massive, probably.
Okay, so we cut to a scene of you guys all sort of meeting up at Lord Gould's townhouse. Since obviously that's where you'd left your prisoner. You're quickly shown through, since you're by now recognised by most people in Pondmount. As you walk in, Lord Gould says, my friends, my good friends, I'm so pleased to see you this morning. I do have some more information for you. As I promised, my most skilled interrogators have been working on the prisoner that you brought to us all through the night, ceaselessly. Now, from what we've been able to gather from her, we're told that a large contingent of troops from the Hammerfall and Snowmane clans set out for Gallenmeet over a week ago. The dwarf makes some ridiculous claims that Lord Gallen has been reborn and seeks to bring stability and safety to the world under his rule, or some such rot. She spoke a lot of rubbish about those who pledge allegiance to him being granted tremendous power, and that they'd become as the stone, like the resurrected Lord himself. The normal rubbish that fanatics spew about, the people of the world are too weak, and they've been without a strong ruler for too long. Now here's one thing that did strike me as interesting. Apparently she says that I'm told by my interrogators that she said that Lord Gallen intends to bend the energies of the land to his will rather than those of the gods, and use them to make people stronger and better than they are. I'm not entirely sure what that means. She also compared Lord Gallen's to the Goliaths of old, saying his strength was the strength of the earth. There's also one final thing he says, and he places a rolled up, tattered piece of parchment on the table in front of you. We also found this in her possession. She was trying very hard to conceal it, and I'll post you guys a link in the chat so you can have a look at that.
A map?
Oh yes, some sort of map of some kind. I don't know exactly what it's a map to, mind.
Well, we can find out the truth of what's going on in Gallenmeet when we get there.
Milo takes a look at it. That must be the ley lines, right? See? Running.
Lord Gould creases
What?
his forehead and says, ley lines?
Yeah, the natural flow of nature running through the lands. So each mark must be where they place the dragon statue. And
A
this
shrine.
one, and he points to the one in the middle, must be the shrine.
So if we destroy the shrine, we destroy the rest of them.
Lord Gould,
So
I
you're
think-
saying
Lord Gould says, well, if what you're saying is true and this is a representative of a map, then this, and he draws like with his finger on the sort of mountains running vertically down the map, then these would surely be the world spine mountains. There's no other mountain range hereabouts that runs in that manner.
Yes. That's what I said last night too.
Interesting. Either way, if that big X is the shrine, we go there first. And then
Yeah,
we
and
see
the
where
other big
ones
X
lead to.
must be the city, right? Rufus, do you think so?
What
It was
city?
up there. The Elven City, the Lost City.
The one you mentioned. The weird, mysterious one I went missing.
Milo points at the big X on the map.
Rufus, slightly unsure of himself, says, "Yeah, I think so. But it's kind of hazy."
At which point Lord Gould says, well, if that's the case, then this X here would be in the forest to the south, the Black Forests.
No. You think?
I look around, I go, the best way for us to compare these things if we had an actual copy of the map of the world in front of us. Do you have a copy of the map, Lord?
Well, yes, I'm sure I can find you something. Let me just... and he snaps his fingers. He says, you there, man. Go and fetch me my map. I need to show these people here. Okay, yes, of course, Lord Gould. And this person runs off. Comes back in with a sort of slightly tattered and stained map a few moments later and unfurls it on the table in front of you.
So I'll lay the map down, and then my old scribe training will kick in. I'll grab the other map, I'll put it over, and then I'll sort of ask again for any kind of other I'll just grab some from my bag. I have some piece of parchment in my bag. I'll lay that down for it, and I'll start cross-referencing to see what points on that map would make sense to be at the points that we have on our map.
Okay,
But
no problem.
if that's
at all.
true, then the Tree of Life is tainted.
When you cross-reference them, Sanya, please can you make me a discern realities roll?
Excellent.
It's a roll
Great.
plus wisdom.
Don't fuck this up, Lloyd. 8, 9, 10.
Okay, as you're looking at the map, you think that the large X on this side of the world spine mountains, it would appear to be in the centre of the Black Forest. The one that's on the other side of the world spine mountains is deep in the heart of Orklands. The rest would seem to correspond to various cities and different areas around the world. You think one of them is, this one here, is the city of Caen to the north. This one over here could be somewhere in Trademeet. You're not quite sure. It could be Vinras. Obviously, it's not an exact scale. This might possibly be in the cliffs of Amora somewhere. You know there's some swampland down here, but you don't really know much about it. This could possibly be Trademeet. It depends on the scale. And you're pretty sure that this, if that's correct and your judgment's appropriate, you think that the one in the centre here would correspond to Pondmount.
And that would make sense. Because Gallenmeet wasn't directly attacked, but Pondmount was. Alright. So I think our path is clear. After we head to Gallenmeet, we need to make supplies and come back through to go down to the Black Forest. That's where the source of everything seems to be happening from.
We need to travel to the tower first to recover the sword.
Yes, I get
Yes.
it already, Glarg. We're going to the tower on our way to Gallenmeet. We've already said
It
this.
will help us.
We're definitely going to the tower. Go to Gallenmeet, find out what's happening there, see the shrine, come all the way back down, head to the Black Forest. My lord,
Yes, my friend.
is it possible for you to send some form of scout to the Black Forest just to see what the state of it is?
Well, of course, I could send people to the Black Forest, but it's a long journey to the south. I mean, far beyond the borderlands where we are now.
Is it going to
No,
take longer
no,
than 3
no.
days?
No,
Considerably
no.
longer.
that would be a bad idea.
Why?
He shovels his feet.
Lord
because-
Gord says, well, because they're all godless heathens down there, that's why.
Yeah, they're godless heathens.
Fine, godless heathens, whatever. Fine, I get it. Okay, in that case, we'll have to do the journey ourselves when we come back. For now, we head to Gallenmeet.
But I think we should go elsewhere first.
Lord Gordon
Maybe.
leans forward and he says, my friends, in light of the great service you've done, if you wish it, I will send a party of my men on horseback south to the borders of the forest. I dare not send them beyond. There are all manner of strange legends about that bewitched place.
Yeah, but no, that's a bad idea.
Why?
Why?
Well,
Out with it.
no, I mean, couldn't you go like to a human place? Yeah, I mean, maybe you go up here, and he points to the coast town. Yeah, that would be better.
Why is going there a bad idea?
Well, you know,
Milo, what are you not telling us?
I just think that maybe we should go there.
To the Black Forest.
Good. Yes.
We will.
On our way back.
We have to go to Gallenmeet first.
After
If
we
there's
stop by the
indeed a
tower.
force, yes, if there's indeed force sent to Gallenmeet, we must go see it. See if it is secure or if it has been taken over.
All right, then.
But
I'll
in
deal
the
with it.
meantime,
But,
they could send a scout.
I mean, you can do that, right? And he looks at.
Why do you not want scouts to go down there? Why do you think it will be a bad idea? I picked Milo up and I like put him. I'm holding him up. I'm like under the armpits now.
At
Tell
which
me,
point-
Milo.
At which point a hand slams on the table and Dowdrika stands up and she's like, by the beards of my ancestors, if you need someone to go south, I'll do it.
That actually seems quite sensible.
She would
But
be a
can't- I
capable
mean-
scout.
It's one of
There
the
are all
many
kinds
duties
of-
I used to have at Gallenmeet.
to go to the Great Forest.
Yeah, so like I say, I'll stay on the very edge of it. I've no desire to enter such place. I'm not one with the trees and all of that rubbish. But I can at least head south and see if there's anything worth further investigation. I could arrange to meet you back here in Pondmount after you've dealt with your other business.
But,
That's-
You seem to know the area, Milo. Where could she meet us when we get there?
No, she'll be back here by the time we get back.
but it's too dangerous for her to go into the forest.
As
She's
you say
not
that-
going
as you say
into
that,
the forest,
as you
just
say
up
danger,
to it.
Dowdrika's like,
Okay, but remember the tree we fought? I mean, out near the the farm. I mean that was a tainted tree, but there are plenty of those trees there, and there are all kinds of other stuff you don't want to meet.
as Milo's talking about this tree that they fought, Rufus, Buffkin, who's sitting like fairly close to you, is looking like well interested. He's got like a parchment out. You can hear like the of him like pretty much writing down everything Milo's saying under his breath. He's like, oh, corrupted tree, and he's just like writing down everything that Milo's saying.
I mean, really, and he kind of shifts in Glarg's hands. It's not safe for humans and dwarves and others to go
Dowdrika
into
says,
the forest.
not safe for humans, maybe, but you'll find us dwarves are made of sterner stuff.
Besides,
Yeah.
she's not going into the forest, just up to its edge.
No, well, and he kind of shifts in Glarg's hands.
You can see like Dowdrika sat next to you, like she's like fairly like busting to like jump up Glarg, and she's like, finally, my chance for glory.
So I'll set Milo on his feet. Out with it. If you know more, say it.
Well, I mean, it's not safe for firewalkers. So, I mean, the forest reacts poorly to fire. So you can't really bring fire near the forest. You can't sleep near any trees, and if you hear any like music or whistling or bells at night, do not go there.
Fine.
God
You've heard his
damn it,
warning.
Milo, says Dowd. I'm not planning on walking in there with lit torches and trying to burn the place down. I'm just going to go south and have a look at it, man.
Keep in mind what he said about the bells, though. But yes, do that.
Be
We'll meet you back
assured
here.
that if I hear anything strange or otherworldly whilst I am on the outskirts, and she looks at you, Milo, the outskirts of the forest, then I will withdraw. I'm there as a scout. I'm not there. I'm not a one-woman wrecking machine there to storm the forest.
She's more than capable, Milo. Good, it's settled. Let us be off to work.
Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Let us be off.
Rufus is surveying the map. Milo, unfortunately, it is dangerous no matter where we are these days, as we have found ourselves. What I'm wondering is there any way for us? I mean, I've never travelled with these kind of compatriots before. No offense. Is there any way for us to communicate over this sort of distance?
As you're saying this, Rufus, what have you done with that copper coin?
It's still in my hand, but just clenched. Like I've just been.
Okay, so
it.
as you say, is there any way we could like keep in touch over this distance? Just this like booming voice, like from the air that you all hear says, "There are many magical items that could enable you to maintain contact over such a long distance." And then you feel like the coin turn into like powder in your hands, and it just sort of like crumbles and drops to the floor.
Rufus will like triple jump back. What the hell?
Milo will do the same.
Yeah, as this voice finishes, both like Rufus and Milo are like, "Whoa!" Dowdrika's like on her feet with like a weapon out,
What just
walking
happened?
around like.
Enough with your tricks, Rufus. Let us be off.
I don't know what just happened, Glag.
Yes, yes. It was a funny joke. Let us go.
Rufus is well.
Dowdrika says, "Look, Milo, if you're so worried about me causing damage to your precious forest, why don't you travel with me?"
No, I mean, I don't think you. And he kind of tilts his head and looks at it. I don't think you can harm the forest. I think the
Then
forest
what are
will
you
harm
worried
you.
about?
Well, I mean,
Come on, out with it. We've
forest
we've
might
travelled
harm
together
you.
for a while now. I'm not so easily offended by words as some humans. If you have something to say to me, just say it to me.
well, the forest may harm you, as I say.
Well, that's why I'm not going in. I'm going to stay on the outskirts.
Yes, but if it's, and he can, if it's tainted,
If it's tainted, it would surely show some sign of taint. It's not exactly been subtle so far, has it? If I spot lots of twisted trees, or the ground looks strange, or everything looks a bit grey, I'll head back to Pondmount, and when you get back here, I'll report that, yes, there's some taint in the Black Forest.
okay.
As simple as that.
Enough! I walk over, I grab the map out of Rufus's hand, I just stuff it in my pocket. I pick up Milo, I put him on my shoulder, and I start walking out. We can talk while we walk. Oh.
Well, actually, we can't. We need to leave it. No, don't worry about it. Just head on.
Well then, my friends, if all goes well, I will see you soon, and we will meet again in Pondmount, says Dowdrika. Be well, all of
Good.
you.
Man, it is.
She bows to you, Glogs, clasps her mailed fist across her chest and says, "It's been an honour."
Stay safe or die well.
Indeed, and may you know glory in battle, my friend.
Safe travels.
She turns to you, Durkir, and says, "May Kavresh be with you and guide your steps."
As Clark carries Milo out, he turns to, remember the bells? Don't get near them.
She's like walking off like with her back to you. She like waves her hand around. She's like, yes, bells, I remember. See you all when you get back. And she like disappears, sort of heading southwards.
So I guess we'll go retrieve our mounts from the stables where we have them. I'm going to walk over. I believe Milo had a... Did you have a pony or you had nothing, right?
He had nothing.
I don't have
Alright.
anything either.
Well, we'll take enough mounts for all from the stables.
John, do I have time to nip to a market stall and get some regents for making poisons and things like that? I do have coin.
Yes,
Where in a town?
you have time to nip to a market and get some supplies, etc. That's absolutely fine.
How much will that cost?
Let me
I'll
just
pay
check.
for it legitimately. I'll do it, like straight.
Let me just check and I will tell you.
50 million gold. It's
Tell you what,
very
Brent's
expensive.
expensive in Pond Mountain.
Yeah.
Speciality.
Supply and demand. There's a lot of demand
Okay,
for
so
food
what
right
is
now.
it you're looking for?
It's really good bread. Almost as good as the coffee.
I want to be able to either make poisons I already have, I've got one that I started with, or enough to make a few of the others.
Okay, make me a charisma roll.
Ooh. I shall do that. Okay. Nice. So that's a 12 in total.
Okay, so what that means is basically after like a little bit of hunting around, you manage to find what you want at a fair price. And if I can find the list of prices, I will tell you how much it is. Since as far as I'm aware, this is the first time like you guys have actually bought some equipment.
Yep. I mean, I want
We
Galad
bought
to know that
mounts. We bought mounts at some point, I think.
Yeah,
You
we got
didn't
mounts.
buy them, you were given them.
Oh, okay.
By
We
Lord
bought
Gord.
a cart and a mule.
Oh, you bought
That's
a
right.
cart and a mule. Okay. So, I presume you're trying to buy the poison that you're particularly versed in using. Would that be correct to say?
Yep. And any other regents I can for the other ones that I could potentially make.
Okay, so for each dose of oil of Tagit that you want to make, it will cost you 12 coins to buy
Right.
the assorted stuff to make it with.
Okay. I'll take 3 doses worth then.
Yeah, you can just mark it as doses straight on your sheets. I'm assuming you sort of mix it in your travel time, etc.
Okay.
And you're very.
And can I
skilled
get
in it.
any? Can I get any other poisons, or is that? Do I have to make them first? I'm not sure how it works for the
You
other stuff.
can buy stuff to make other poisons. Obviously, you're not as well versed in their use, so they're slightly more dangerous to use.
Yep.
Okay, basically the poisons you know of that you could feasibly make are bloodweed, which is basically used to cause more damage. Golden root, which seems to have a strange sort of influence of it. When it's used on it causes them to be like very trusting to people. And there's serpent's tears, which has the effect of sort of boosting any damage that's done to someone when it's applied to a blade.
I was mainly interested in golden root and serpent's tears for future
Okay.
adventures.
So, for each dose of golden root you want, that will cost you 20 coins. Of each
Okay.
dose of serpent's tears you want, that will cost you 10 coins.
Okay. Right.
However, since you're mixing these poisons, obviously this will be while you're travelling, but since you're not quite as skilled in the use of them, I'm going to ask you to make me a defy danger roll.
Oh.
It's going to be based on your wisdom, I will say.
Okay. If I kill myself, can we all just forget it happened?
Well, if you killed yourself, you won't have to forget it happened.
Well, yeah. Well, I will. 3.
If you kill us, I'll murder you.
Well, no, he's not going to kill you guys because he's just like mixing up the poison, like his pestle and mortar and everything. You can mark an XP for that, and I'll get back to you about that roll.
Yeah, I thought you would. Thanks.
You're probably infected too, so.
Okay, not a problem. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break, guys. So if there's anything else you want to do before you set off, get it in your minds, and when I get back, we will crack on with you guys journeying north to the tower. So I'll be back in a few moments.
Does anyone need to buy any arrows, armor, that kind of stuff while we're in town? Standard RPG fare.
I suppose I could buy some better armor if there is any, but I've spent a good deal of my coin talking to my god.
Milo has some coin.
You really should get a better plan, so you're not spending so much money.
I'm not spending money. I have to sacrifice something of value,
I mean,
or else my god won't listen to me.
what armor do you have?
My I believe it's chainmail that I have.
Okay, you can buy a scale mill for 50 coins, and plate is 350 coins, so you probably can't afford that.
No.
But-
Okay. Yeah, I might just buy some scale mail. Or I was actually thinking more plate, even just a breastplate if they've got some.
I don't.
put
It
the top of the
it just said plate because the armor basically is 1, 2, or 3 armor points, so they don't have that much
Right.
to it. But I mean, if Durka doesn't have enough coins for that, Milo still has. I think.
I have 100 coins. I'm sure I'll be able to buy some scale mail.
You say you're looking to buy some scale mail, Dirkie?
Yeah, or more preferably some plate mail, if that just a breastplate if there is some to go with my chainmail.
Okay, can you make me a charisma roll? Obviously, bartering, attempting to find the stuff for a fair price.
Really, that's my worst. And I got another one, of course. That is a 6.
Okay, mark an XP for that.
Yeah, I thought so.
You do find a suit of plate mail. It seems to be the only suit that's actually in the town, because it's not a big military town, and it's quite an old suit of plate mail. It's currently being sold, since it's a family heirloom, it's being sold for 500 coins.
It's now I can afford 500. How much for just the breastplate?
The person who's selling it tells you that he couldn't possibly separate the pieces. The armour's made to work together. He wouldn't, and it's an heirloom. He wouldn't dream of selling it separately. He apologises.
Do you have any separate breastplates that you're willing to sell? Some that you've made recently?
Alas, no. I didn't manufacture this. This is an old family heirloom. There's not much demand for plate armour in Pondmount. We're a farming town. We're not a military outpost.
Very well. Do you have any scale armour?
Yes, I do have a set. It's I'd be willing to let it go for 65 coins.
Okay, I'd take a little look at it first. See if any bits of the scaling are missing or there's any damage to it.
It looks like a fairly decent suit. There's a couple of little patches where the odd link or two have dropped out of it, but it looks pretty good.
You'll need to readjust the straps to fit you properly.
Oh yes, of course. This was obviously made for a human, wasn't it?
Of course, I'd be more than happy to make some adjustments so that it fits you.
Okay, 55.
I really couldn't let it go for any less than 60, I'm afraid.
58.
Call it 59 and we have a deal.
Okay, 59.
Okay, he takes the 59 off you, and before you go, he makes the adjustments so that you can wear it. It'll give you an armor rating of 2.
Awesome.
Ooh, can I go shopping? Can I go shopping?
Of course you can, Sanya.
I'll probably just look into buying some leather armor.
Okay, make me a charisma roll to see if you can locate it
Fair.
for a fair price.
That sounds fair. I'm also hoping to get something of fairly, not great quality, but enough whereby, because I will probably burn it off by accident at some point. Let's see if I too can fail my roll, because everyone else is doing it. And 7.
Okay, you do find a set of leather armor that looks quite nice. It looks quite resilient, quite tough. It's got a little bit of battle damage on it, nothing terrible though. It's currently selling for 20 coins.
I'll come on in and I'll look and be like, that leather armor over there, how much for? 20?
20 coins. Yourself, sir?
I'll slap it on the table and go, I'm not really in the mood to negotiate.
I can see you're a man who means business, sir. Thanks very much. And he scrapes the 20 coins over, hands you
Don't you want to haggle?
Hands you the leather armor. It'll give you an armor rating of 1.
Excellent. And I'll put it underneath my cloak, just like barred it up, just so it's like fairly tight. Also, it's holding me in after that last hit.
Not a problem. Does anyone else want to buy anything before you begin your travels?
Yes. Listen to this. Dwarven hardtack. Dwarf says it tastes like home. Everyone else says it tastes like home. If home is a hog farm that's on fire.
That's it. It's something of an acquired taste, it's fair to say.
Milo would like to buy some bandages and some poultices and herbs.
Okay, make me a charisma roll.
Five.
Okay, you can mark an XP for that. Most of the poultices and herbs that are around seem to have been like pressed into like helping deal with like the local problems. There's not really any to spare to sell. They've not got a surplus. However, you do find a single set of bandages that's selling for 7 coins.
Okay, he'll buy that.
Okay, so you've got bandages. You've got 3 uses of it.
Everybody else went shopping, so I'm just going to buy a sack. There's only extra rations in.
That's not a problem. It doesn't cost you anything to buy a sack. You just like, have you got a spare bag?
Okay.
You're like, yeah, there you go.
Done.
Okay. So you guys start heading north to the tower. It's going to take you a couple of days to get there. Now, on the first days passed fairly uneventfully. Now, I would like Dennis, if you could roll me a d6, please.
That is a 5.
Okay, so on the first night, Dirk, you happen to be on watch at this time when you notice Buffkin, the bard who is accompanying you. You've obviously all got like your own little tents and whatever. You notice Buffkin's in the middle of the night wearing his like long johns effectively because it's getting a bit chilly out as winter's growing on apace. You notice him like walking towards, just glancing around, walking quite happily, nothing furtive about his manner. He appears to be like strolling towards Rufus's tent.
Okay. I sort of lean around and just say, can I help you?
He says, my friend Dirk here. I presume you've all introduced yourselves in the meantime. He says, I was just going to see how Rufus is doing. He seemed to be a little bit put out when we left Pond Mountain, and it's been such a long time I've had a chance to talk to someone from my own homeland.
Well, he's probably sleeping. Can't you wait till the morning? I know that you're happy to be with us and write things about us, but we need sleep.
He puts he puts a hand on your arm and he says, Dirk, if there's one thing I can tell you about Vinrassian men, is that we're capable of functioning on far less sleep than the humans you may have encountered in other lands and the borderlands hereabouts. There's simply
That's fair enough.
there's simply so
you're
much to do
still
in
weak.
Vinras, you see. If we slept as much as other people, well, where would we find the time to fit it all in?
You seem weak, though. He needed to recover from his antics.
Well, yes, but of course we can't all be stoic, stalwart warrior priests like yourself, Durkee. Everyone has their own particular talents, their own avenues of expertise. Why look at the mighty Glorg? He's obviously a rough and tough barbarian from the north. I'm sure his axe has felled countless foes, whereas you are of a more priestly demeanour. You fight for what you believe is right, but you fight in a different way to Glorg. We all fight in our own ways. For myself, I try to inspire others through my tales, since I have no skill as a great warrior, but I do have the skill necessary to spread the tales of those who are great warriors. That's my role in life.
Well, I suppose it's up to him whether you wake him up or not, but if you do, then tell him he's on next watch.
Of course, not a problem, my friend. And he slips into the tent that Rufus is sleeping in. Okay, Rufus, you're in your tent. You've been up late. You're just like, you've got your pestle and mortar out. You're just like, you're getting to that crucial point when you're like mixing that sweet golden root up. You're like, oh yeah, I've just gotta like add this one last ingredient. Oh yeah, and you're
yeah.
You've not noticed, but where you sat down, you sat like directly with your back to the tent flap, and just as you're like leaning over, like ready to add the final ingredient, the tent flap's thrown backwards, and you hear a voice say, "My friend Rufus, are you in here?" And Buffkin attempts to walk in, and as he does, it knocks you forward, and you spill this golden root all over yourself.
Oh.
In his sleep, Glarg is.
Yeah, you can hear like snoring and Glorg like. You spill this golden root all over yourself, and then as you turn to like look at whoever's caused you to spill this like stuff over yourself, you see like the moonlight cascading through the open flap of your tent, and there, framed by this soft, sweet moonlight, is possibly the most beautiful being you have ever seen in your entire life. So beautiful that it just like takes your breath away. You're glad you're sitting down, otherwise the sheer beauty of this person would have knocked you clean off your feet.
Slight breeze blowing the hair.
Exactly.
Oh my.
Seeing you sort of with all this like shite over the front of you, basically, Buffkin like steps in and he's like, "Rufus, are you all right?"
Have you always looked so incandescent?
You notice Buffkin's his cheeks sort of like colour a little bit, and he says, "Well, flattery will get you everywhere, my friend."
It really has been a long time since I've been in Vinras.
And we'll draw a bit of a veil over the rest of the evening's proceedings in Rufus's tent. It's fair to say, Dirk, here, that Rufus doesn't make it out of his tent to like take his watch, which you'd be presumably quite annoyed about, and you'd probably stomp into his tent to like go and get him. But just as you're like heading towards the tent, the noises you hear coming out of his tent, you're like, maybe not. And we fade to black on that scene. Effectively, that will wear down to like a background level over the course of the evening, Rufus. But effectively, in the future, you'll be well disposed towards Buffkin. It's the best way of saying it. There's no real game effect. Just bear it in mind when you're role playing. Dirk is probably not too happy because he's had to pull like a double stint on watch, but the course of true love never did run smooth.
I obviously needed time to recuperate still.
Obviously.
Wow.
And you guys all wake up the next morning for sort of travelling. You notice like Rufus is really looking like he's not slept at all. The previous evening, his hair's a bit of a mess, but like a few bits of grass in his hair, etc.
But he has a glow about him.
Bit of a spring in his step.
Shall we be off?
Yeah, if Glarg notices not at all that Rufus is, I don't know.
No time to take in the
disheveledness.
morning, eh?
Glarg the impatient, that's me.
It's a wonderful day.
So, yeah, so I'm going to we'll get going.
As you're saying this, like Buffkins like emerge from Rufus's tent, and he's like, "Morning."
Get some food in you and let's get going.
Of course, I'm ready to leave whenever you mighty warriors.
Blech.
I'm quite satisfied. Let us be off.
Quite satisfied.
What? Yes, let's leave. Bags. Bags. Come on, Glog is slowing us down. Let's go.
Hashtag prison flashbacks.
Okay.
At least let us eat first, man.
Not quite so consenting then.
You guys all eat your breakfast, and you continue travelling north. Getting near the end of the second day, as you crest a small rise, you see in front of you a large stone tower. And at the top of the tower, visible against the night sky, is what appears to be a crackling white light. You can't see what's causing
There. The tower is there. You've seen it now.
Well, there's something you don't see every day.
What can I say? A bit retroactive, but on the way here, we would have been pressing, or at least I would have been pressing Buffkin for any further details he might know about this tower, or Oscar, or Jasper.
Okay, he tells you that Sir Oscar was a mighty holy warrior, was very devout. He sincerely believed that it was the duty of the strong to protect the weak. He was seen as the hero of Pondmount, and sort of he was the guardian of that tower and protected it from many, many horrible dangers, using this mighty sword, the Silver Sword of Vengeance. And when word of the unholy doings of Jasper Sursk filtered through to the people of Pondmount, he deemed it was his duty to ride north and confront him. And that was where he disappears from the annals of history, never returning from the tower itself having vanished the following evening.
What's the approximate dimensions of this tower?
In fact, let me show you a map.
1,000 feet wide, but only 2 feet thick. You see that map?
Not sure I like the ghost.
So, are those squares 5? If those
They are
squares are
indeed
5
5 feet.
foot squares, it's about 20 feet across interior, 30 feet exterior, roughly.
Indeed.
Okay. All right. Milo, perhaps you could fly up, fly around, look for any signs of anyone here, or any signs that anyone's been here recently.
But what? Anything? I mean, what I'm looking for?
See if there's anyone here, or signs of anyone being here recently. Recent trails, cleared paths, campfires, footprints.
Okay, sure. He will try to turn into a raven. Do you want me
Okay.
to roll? Or?
Yeah, make me your shape-changing roll.
I need to check that. That might be a mess. So that's 6. No, that's 9. I make it.
Okay, you shapeshift into a raven. What are you doing?
And then he takes off and flies towards the tower.
Okay, are you flying up to like the roof of the tower, or?
No, he's staying like in around the middle of the tower, so he can look down on the ground, see if there's any campfires or people down there.
Okay, you don't see any campfires or signs of life. However, since you're about halfway up the tower, as you're getting nearer the top of the tower, you can hear what appears to be a voice chanting coming from the top of the tower. It's a very soft voice. You wouldn't hear it from the base of the building.
Okay, so if he lands on one of the windows, can he peek inside?
You can indeed. You peek in through one of the windows on like the sort of second level of the tower, and you see an odd sight. You can see through into the sort of main chamber of the level, and there's what appear to be 4 piles of dust in a line, sort of heading towards the stairs.
Okay. Four lines of dust.
Well, it's 4 small piles, but then there's like a pile, then a bit nearer to the stairs there's another pile, then a bit nearer to the stairs there's another pile, then sort of on the bottom step is another pile.
Okay, but they're not moving.
No, they're just little piles of dust.
Okay. Can he determine where the chanting comes from?
Make me a discern realities roll, please, Marlo. That's a roll plus wisdom, as I'm sure you know.
That is 9 again.
Okay, so you can ask me one question from the discern realities. You were just trying to discern where the chanting's coming from, weren't you?
Yes.
Okay, the chanting seems to be coming from the roof of the tower, where this sort of crackling white light can be glimpsed.
Okay. Can I get what happened here recently?
Well,
No, it's only 1. Sorry.
that's fine.
Okay. Well, he'll fly down again, and he'll just take a casual peek in the other windows on the way down, just to spot any movements. And if there are any movements, he'll land to take a closer peek.
Okay, as
Closer
you
look.
peer into like the sort of the ground level of the tower, you can again see these strange like piles of dust heading towards the staircase. However, on top of one of the piles of dust in this case is what appears to be a human skull. There's also a number of human skeletons lying on the floor, one of which is like wearing full plate mail, like it was once a soldier. It's lying face down on the floor.
Durkin is gonna be happy about that. Well, he lands at the base of the tower and shifts back, and he puts his hand on the rocks there, and he will try to use his thing talker to talk to the stone, the spirits in the stone.
And what do you ask the spirits of the stone?
Is there anyone inside, stone friend? Any living?
There is only death inside these walls.
Thank you, stone friend. And he walks back.
Return to sleep.
He walks back to his companions.
Flies back. I'm assuming it'll take a while. Those
Yeah.
little wee wavering legs.
That's true. He'll shapeshift and fly back, and
It's
then
fine, I'm
land
not
and
gonna make a roll
shape.
for that. That's fine.
So as he shakes off the feathers from the raven, he will. There's weird things going on inside. There's some chanting. That sounds like nothing I heard, like in a language that I know. There's piles of dust with human bones scattering around. There's a plate mail, and he looks at Durga. And the stone, the stone friends told me that the tower only holds death.
What does that mean?
That people died here, or maybe it's that necromancy that Rufus is always talking about.
Mm.
Whatever it is, I'm convinced there's nothing good in there and something worth slaying. Perhaps the sword. I see no
Well, we're
reason to
here
wait.
now. Let's go in.
Yeah.
Where did you see these piles of bones? I'm going to say that.
On the staircases leading up and down. The chanting is at the top of the tower, but I couldn't see it. Could only hear it. I
And
think
where
we
did you
should
see
go.
the armor?
It was on the way down. I think we should. Oh, yeah. You still can't fly, right?
Of course I can't fly.
Okay. I think it would be best if we could get up. Maybe I should like climb up the wall and make a rope for you.
I have rope. Why do you want to avoid the door? Why do you think it would be better to go in the top?
But Rufus once said it was better to come into a window than a door.
But you said there was chanting up at the top.
There's at the top, yeah. So if we go into middle,
As you're all discussing this, there is what appears to be a low rumble that seems to vibrate through the ground, and what appears to be a shaft of white light bursts from the top of the tower into the air, and you notice dark clouds start to swirl around it.
Right. I just start walking towards it.
I will slightly reluctantly, but also agree with Glarg. Just walk towards the door.
Okay, who's first in? I'm assuming Glog.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what do I see at the doorway?
Okay, you get to it. There's a large wooden door. It's got iron bolts in it, a large iron knocker, and a huge lock with a large keyhole in it.
I will just try the door to see if it's open. Unlocked. You never know.
The door doesn't seem to be unlocked.
Rufus?
Normally I'd smash this, but Rufus, make yourself useful.
Why, thank you, Glag. I will do what I can. I'm gonna give this lock the once over.
To be honest, it looks like a fairly simple and sort of old locking mechanism. You put big metal key in, you turn it, it unlocks. Probably wouldn't be too difficult to pick, to be honest.
Don't suppose anyone's got a key?
skills.
Of course we haven't got a key.
Sort of. I show him my axe.
Okay, well, we'll go with that. Oh, that's plan B. Plan A, I will try and open this the nice and easy way.
Okay, if you've got any
I'll try.
appropriately roguey move or skill that you can use for this.
Don't think I have, unless it's detect traps. Trap expert. I've got trap expert. I don't know if that counts.
You can try and use Trap Expert if you're worried about the door being trapped.
Yes.
It won't
yes,
help you
that
unlock
does.
it, but...
Let's check for traps first.
Okay, so since this is the first time you've used this, describe how that works.
When you spend a moment to survey a dangerous area, roll Dex on a 10. On a 10 plus hold 3. I'm guessing that's a Dungeon World term. On a 7 to 9 hold 1.
hold means that you can do X things. So with a hold 3, you
Right.
can do 3 things.
Yeah, with the whole 3, you've got like 3 points that you can spend on like, the various stuff that's listed.
Right, okay. So I got
Okay.
a roll.
Make your dex roll.
What does it look like when you're searching the door for traps?
So basically, I get out my dagger, use the hilt, I sort of tap at the door, trying to like sound out if I hear if I can like detect the like a mechanism behind there. Then I'm sort of like admiring the stonework, looking for any like hidden ropes or wires. And
What are
looking
you doing? How are you going to open the door that way?
I'm checking for traps. This is apparently like magical, right?
As
Guy-
as Rufus is busy doing this and Glarg is sort of protesting, I look at him silently and just nod and think to myself, well, no wonder he was able to do what he did. He's obviously good at opening doors.
Yeah. Trapdoors is a thing that's a foreign concept to Glarg, though. So.
So it's a 7 I got total, John, with my thing.
Okay, so I believe that allows you to hold 1.
Yeah.
Now, it should give you a list of what you can spend your hold on, so let me know what you want to spend it on.
Is there a trap, and if so, what activates it? That seems like the most pertinent.
Okay. Yes, it is. There is a trap. It's a small dart trap, a poisoned dart trap. It's concealed inside the lock.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who interferes with the door or who puts the key in and turns it to the right, as you would do normally, would trigger the trap. The lock's made so you put the key in and you turn it to the left.
Right. Okay. Just as I thought. These legends and their crafty tales. It's locked for a reason, guys. There's a mechanism here. I'd stand back. If it doesn't get me, it might get you. I think it might be a projectile of some kind, but I'm not
Isn't it easier just to go in through the window?
Yeah, I'm not sure Galak can get up there.
Just let him finish, Milo.
Okay. So I'll try and pick the lock without like staying off the trap.
Make me a dex roll. Defy danger.
Here we go, guys. This Dex. Boom. So that's a 10 total.
Okay, so you pull out your tools. You go to work on the lock. A few moments later, there is a and what appears to be a small dart shoots out of the lock. You see Rufus duck to one side, and as the dart goes over, he literally just like grabs it out of the air. You can see there's some like glistening like fluid on the point of the dart. Mm-hmm. You catch it, Rufus, since you're obviously aware of where it's going.
Yep.
And you recognise it as it's some sort of animal venom, quite lethal.
Ooh. Nasty stuff.
But you've got it contained. You're in no danger. And as you fiddle with the lock a bit more, and then there's a you've got it unlocked. The door is still shut, but it's now unlocked.
Milo stands right next to him and looks at him with his big blue eyes. Was that in the door?
Yep.
How did that... Why? That's dangerous.
It absolutely is, Milo. See, people, when there is something worthwhile, like to put things in these doors and buildings to try and stop you from getting at it. This is what's called a trap.
As this is going on, more clouds have gathered and are swirling around this shaft of light. There's a feel of static electricity in the air, like the hairs on the back of your arms are standing on end.
Okay, I'll open the door and I'll say to Glag, I know you want to get in there, but walk there with your eyes open. There could be more of these things in there, holding up the dirt.
Oh. Seems like it's actually good to have you along.
I have my uses. I give him like a respectful nod.
You've proven that.
Okay, so Glog, what do you
Well,
shall we,
unlock
gentlemen?
it then.
Yes.
Is it unlocked? I know you picked it.
I opened the door.
I'm sorry.
I opened the door.
I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm going straight in. I've got my axe out, but I'm not going to be like marching like going quickly. I'll be taking slow, deliberate strides.
Okay, as you head in there, you can see what appear to be a line of human skeletons that appear to be sort of leading towards this cylindrical stairway around the edge of the tower. Almost so they've been a line of people, sort of almost like dominoes heading up the stairs, and then they all died and fell over. And now it's just this line of skeletons.
Mark's name is this about?
In the centre of the room is a single dead body wearing like full plate mail, slightly rusted, face down on the floor. one mailed hand outstretched.
I'm going to go walking over to it, and I'm going to have a Buffkin with me. I'll pull him by the arm if I have to.
No, but Buffkin's like at your shoulder. He wants to like see what's going on.
Right. So with my foot, I'm going to flip this body over on its back. Does that look like Sir Oscar?
You flip it over, you can see like this completely like skeletal face behind the visor, and he says, "Well, it's difficult to tell, but yes, I think so. That looks like his armor. There you see the sign of the white heart it's slightly rusted but emblazoned on the breastplate. That is the sign of Sir Oscar. That's his family heraldry."
Where is his sword? I'm looking around.
You both look around. You don't see any sign of a sword in this chamber.
Whoever fought him knew the value of that sword.
At this point, Sanya, as you're all sort of like slowly like entering, like being quite careful, Sanya, can you make me a discern realities roll?
All right.
It's a wisdom roll.
5, 6, 7.
Okay, as you're looking at this line of like skeletons, you notice something quite odd. And it may be due to your affinity with fire, you're not sure, but you can see that each of the skeletons forming this line has like their arm outstretched as if they were like trying to pass something to the next one in line, and each of them, like the bones on their arms, are scorched black as if by fire.
I sort of lean in and look down towards where it starts. I look at the people walking all the way up. And then I sort of look over to Buffin and I go, Buffin, this sword, what else did it do?
Well, it's in legend, the Silver Sword of Vengeance was believed to have been forged from the tears of Morg. It was said that no evil could wield it, nor could it be used for an evil deed, and that only heroes who were pure of heart could wield it in the name of righteousness.
I look at Glog and I go, Glog.
Yes.
Sword's that way.
I just start marching that way. I'm kicking any skeletal bodies like off the stairs. They're in my way.
And then as he goes up, I look at him and as he goes up, I go, so I think these people formed a line to move the sword from the ground all the way up. Carefully passing it from one person to another person, which means that whatever they're doing up there involves the tears of Morg.
As he's saying this, Milo, as he's sort of pointing at the stairs, you notice that behind, sort of, obviously Sanya's got like his back to the plate mail body, he's pointing up the stairs. You notice like almost like a translucent mist starts to rise up out of this plate mail clad body that perhaps might have been Sir Oscar.
Oh, might as well look at it. Bit confused what it might be.
As you watch, it slowly grows into a larger cloud of mist. You can all see it by now, and it slowly takes the translucent form of a statuesque man with long blonde hair, wearing a suit of plate mail armour that's gleaming, that looks very like the man who's lying on the ground.
I'll stop halfway up the stairs, look at it, see what it does next.
It looks at each of you and then nods, more sort of bows.
It seems we have his approval. Let us retrieve the sword. Whoever's behind this, it's obviously foul what they're doing.
The spectral figure opens its mouth, and a voice that seems to echo across a long distance says, "Please take my blade beyond the wall of this cursed place, for only then may I rest."
Gladly.
As he heads up, I go, do you know what they're doing with it up there?
I know some of what they're attempting to do. The gods bound the Magus to this place so that he may never leave. But after all these years, I believe that he may have found a way to escape this prison. And in the place that I am now, in the dark halls that I wander, I am powerless to prevent him.
If
saw
we
a
free you
frog.
from this place,
If you take my sword beyond this place, then I will be able to rest. For whilst it lies in the hands of evil, I cannot go to my God, as I should have done.
All right, Glock, do your namesake. Let's go.
oh yeah, I'm still walking, stomping, climbing, booting bones as necessary.
Okay,
Okay.
Milo will follow Clark up.
Not a problem. You get up to the second level, and as you're moving up the stairs, you see about halfway up the stairs are what appeared to be 4 skeletal figures wearing armour. They are standing as though they were sentries halfway up the stairs to level 3.
You say were, right?
Indeed. They are motionless.
All right,
as you
so
approach them.
Right on. So I'm just walking past them. Anything that gets in my way, I just push it off the stairs.
Okay, make me a strength defy danger roll. Let me know what you get.
Sure. Yep.
Both or just Clark?
Just Glogs is in the lead.
8.
Okay, with your sort of warrior's reactions, as you're drawing level with these skeletal figures and you're about to move past them, you notice a slight shifting of their bones as they're getting ready to move. Now, you can basically either let them do whatever they're doing, but you'll get your licks in as well, or you can like take a couple of steps back.
Yeah, well, I see no downside to taking a couple of steps back, so that's what I will do. I also put my hand. Wait.
Okay, as Glog shouts wait and he takes a couple of steps backwards, these 4 skeletons moving slowly, making no sound but the clanking of the armour they're wearing, wheel round. You can see that their weapons are hanging uselessly in their scabbards, but the bones of their fingers appear to have been sharpened into points, almost like clawed talons.
Yeah, well, I'm going to crush one. Smash it.
Okay,
Smash,
make that
smash.
hack and slash roll. You can probably get like
Yeah.
2 abreast in this stairway.
Okay, let's see. 10.
Roll your damage.
Right on. Look at this. Watch this. Come on, dice. 12 plus 2, 14 points of damage.
Okay, describe how you messily destroy one of these bony assailants.
So I go at the closest one, and I'm swinging my axe at blade first, and then I turn it. It's a double bladed axe, and hammer on one side, blade on the other. And so I turn it at the last minute, so the flat of it hits it, and it just clears right off the stairs. He goes poo, 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 off the walls as it falls.
Indeed, there's a loud clang as the flat of Glog's axe hits this thing, crushing its armour in, throwing it off the stairs. The skeletal assailant makes no sound as it's thrown through the air. It hits the ground and bursts apart in a shower of bone chips and shards of armour. As though that had been some sort of trigger for the other 3 that are remaining, they all open their mouths, their jawbones falling down, and an ear-piercing, high-pitched shriek echoes from their skulls. And the 3 remaining, they literally throw themselves onto Glog, clawing at him with their claws. Can you make me?
Go for it.
Can you make me a Dex defy danger roll, Glog?
Dex, you say? Okay. Oh, no. 4.
Okay, mark yourself an XP.
Okay.
Okay, you take 10 wounds of damage as these 3 skeletons just literally leap on you and they're clawing at your face, your arms, anywhere they can get purchased with these sharpened talons. To the rest of you guys behind on the stairs, you hear this like, ah! And these 3 skeletons just hurl themselves on Glog, like clawing at him like mad beasts. Who's next to Glog on the stairs?
That would be Milo.
Okay, Milo, so you're sort of stood next to Glog. You like glance up as he disappears under the snarling tide of bone and death. What do you do?
Okay, I would like to make a defy danger so I can get past Clark and the skeletons to get into the room behind them.
Okay, it's going to be a dex-based defy danger because also they're thrashing about with their claws, etc.
Yeah.
Fortunately, they're all on me.
Yep.
I rolled 8.
Okay, you take 2 wounds of damage as one of them sort of flailing about with his claws just catches you a glancing blow as you duck round and disappear around them.
Yep.
Okay, the stairs are now like free in front of you. If you wish, you can carry up to the next level. The sort of actual level you're on appears to just be like one large chamber.
No, he just wanted to get by so he can shapeshift next.
That's
next
fine.
time.
You are by them. You're slightly higher up on the stairs. You can hear from further up the stairs like the sound of clanking getting closer.
Oh.
Milo, I can't protect you if you get past me.
You hear Glog shout as he's like thrashing about with his axe. Okay, Sanya, what are you doing?
All right, so I'm assuming in that case I'm the third one up, so I can see that he's in trouble. So I'm going to Burning Brand create hopefully a whip. I can whip around them and pull them off him.
Make that roll.
Right. First things first. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I will pick forceful and far for my 2 tags that go with my item. So I put my hand together. And I gen it up, and a small little whip comes all the way up towards me. And I sort of whip it around all 3 of them, and I basically attempt to just yank them off him onto the ground.
Okay, and that's what happens. However, one thing you do notice is slightly strange. As you conjure this whip of flame, you notice it's got this bright, vivid green colour to it, and the edges of it hiss and spit as you summon up this fire. But you don't really have time to think about it as you lash it round these skeletons. Make me a defy danger roll. It's going to be strength based because you're trying to heave them off.
Awesome. I fail.
Okay, so mark yourself an XP. So what I'm going to say is your whip actually lashes around one of them. You do pull it off Glog. However, as you do so, it basically sort of like uses that momentum to like latch onto you and start clawing at you rather than Glog. Okay, Durkee. Glog's wrestling 3 of these skeletons. Sanya's just pulled one off, but it's now latched onto him. You take 2 wounds, Sanya, by the way, as this thing's clawing
Excellent.
at you.
2 on me now, I believe. 1 on him.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna help out Glog and up the support with that. So I'm gonna take a swing
Okay,
at the thing that just attacked him.
make a defy danger roll, strength based.
Woo-wee! I got a 14.
Roll your damage.
Best roll so far. Yes. That is a 5.
Okay. Please narrate how you dispatch one of the 2 skeletons that is currently fighting Glog.
Okay, so I guess the skeleton would have maybe pushed Glog up against a wall a bit, but just as Glog was going to throw it off, I come in and just completely, almost like a bowling ball with Skittles, just whack the thing in the ribs, and it just shatters completely and falls to the ground, tons of little bones everywhere.
And that is indeed what happens. There is now only 1 skeleton left on Glog, and there's obviously 1 on Sanya. Rufus, you can see all this going on in front of you. What are you doing?
Well, as I'm approaching, I sort of shout, "Now that we've got the sword, why can't we just leave?" But I'm gonna
We
help
don't have
up.
the sword. We're going to get it.
Oh, I thought you picked it up. Oh, my bad.
It wasn't here.
I'm gonna help my my buddy Sanya out. If I approach this thing, is it unaware of me?
It's difficult to tell. It's an animated
Okay.
skeleton.
Okay.
When you approach
I
it,
will
doesn't
attempt-
go,
It doesn't turn and look at me. I'm gonna attempt the thief age-old tradition of a little cheeky backstab.
Okay, it's not paying attention to you. However,
Yes.
I'm going to say, since they have this sort of weird sort of 360 awareness, it is going to be a defy danger roll. I'm going to say it's dex based because you're obviously trying to get in for the quick.
Yep. Defy danger. Let's do this. That's a 6.
Mark yourself an XP.
Yeah, it is.
You take 2 wounds as basically you run in Rufus attempting to like backstab this thing, and as you get like level with it, you're like, shit, it's got like no vital organs or anything I can like jab my weapon into. But you're already committed.
Right between the ribs.
You're already committed by that point. So what happens is basically you like grab hold of it, trying to wrestle it off Sanya, but this thing's like flailing about and clawing at both of you. It's like torn between the two of you, almost like a sort of skeletal tug of war, thrashing around at both of you. Okay, Glog, there's still one on you.
Okay, so I got this one on me. It's going to be awkward for me to try and swing my axe at it. So instead, I'm going to like grab it as it's grabbing me, and I'm going to like slam it into the wall, trying to crush it between the wall and myself.
Okay, that's a defy danger. Roll your strength.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So 11.
Okay, you smash this thing into the wall. Roll your damage.
13.
Okay, describe how you crush this thing into the wall and basically destroy it.
Yeah. So it's grabbing onto me. It's trying to claw into me. I just kind of wrap my arms around like its neck and maybe, I don't know, under its where its butt would be, so its ribs are exposed, and I'm just gonna like slam it in its spine, and the spine breaks, the ribs all shatter, and then it just kind of falls apart like a broken Lego tower.
Indeed, the skeletal remnants of this being fall to the steps, and they're like dunk 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 as they roll down the stairs. Okay, Milo, you're sort of a bit further up on the stairs, having snuck round them. As you're sort of looking up the stairs, you can see what appear to be 8 more of these things like marching almost like a unit down the stairs towards your companions.
He will press his feet against the stone floor and reach out with his hand on the wall, and he will try to shapeshift into one of those stone elementals.
Okay, make your roll for shapeshift.
Awesome.
That's 11.
That'll do it. So describe how you transform, what the other people see.
Okay, so the the stone goes out from the wall, covering his hand, his arm, up his shoulder, and try go over him like that. And from his feet, they also come up, and basically turns it into like the Thing from Marvel. And he bulks with the size, and he grows, filling up the hallway. I want to use one of the moves they have, turn the ground into a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
When they come.
Okay, yeah, they're literally marching towards you. They're almost at you, Rufus, as you finish changing. Sorry, Milo.
So, but I don't know if because technically it's a move when I shapeshift, so I can't make an attack move, right? So I have to wait.
Correct. So make me a defy danger constitution as these skeletons get to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's 6.
Okay, mark yourself an XP. You take 4 wounds minus whatever armor you've got.
Mm-hmm.
As these things start clawing at you as they get to you. So the rest of you guys, you can see the transformed Milo sort of blocking the stairway, and just beyond him, you can see this unit of like skeletons. Like 2 of them have like leapt on Milo, and they're clawing at his stony hide, screeching as they do so. Okay, Sanya.
Well, do that in a minute. Right, I'm going to have to try and like get this thing off me. He's on top of me. He's struggling off, so I'm basically going to the stairs. Everyone's behind me as well. I'm basically gonna try and like I've got the whip in my hand. And it's green and it's really odd. But I'm gonna try and basically shove, like, grab the other end of the rope and then just hold on to it and just strangle him with it while burning him. And hopefully that should take him out. Hopefully.
Okay, that sounds like a defy danger strength roll to me.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, you take another wound as you're doing so, as this thing's like thrashing at you. However, roll your damage, because you have managed to loop the whip around him and effectively like pull it tight, so you're almost like trying to slice his head off.
So damage is 6. There's one more thing I need to mention though. Just earlier, because the turn skips, I didn't want to interrupt. When I take damage that's odd, I roll a d4, and I can sometimes subtract that from the damage or give myself more burning brands. I did it before, and I got a 3. So just a heads up, I didn't take damage last turn.
That's fine.
And I also have armor 1, just to help.
Okay, so feel free to describe how you dispatch this skeleton that's on you.
So I've got the green one. It looks really strange. I like whip it to the hand. I hold it around its neck. It's scratching at me, but it can't get through the cloak, get past the armor. I hold on to it, and then as I squeeze a little bit more, I sort of lift it up and I chuck it over the side.
Indeed. As you hurl it over the side of the staircase, its body falls in one place, bursting apart in this shower of bone, and its skull falls in another place, shattering as it hits the stone floor of the tower. Okay, Rufus. Thanks to Sanya, the two of you are free of this thrashing skeleton. You can see slightly further up on the staircase there's a huge stony form of Milo, so with all these skeletons like leaping on him. It'd be quite difficult to get around him on the staircase at this point in time. What are you going to do, Rufus?
I am going to try and take care of the skeletons in front of us currently. Me and Sanya got this. I'm going to try and slash it in, but I honestly don't know if it's going to do anything.
There are no skeletons remaining in front of you. All the skeletons that are level with you guys have been dealt with. There's just the ones in front of Milo.
Oh, right, okay. Right, so
we're on the stairs, right? So there's like Milo's at the front, and he's got 2 on him, and there's 6 just beyond Milo. All the others are just fat.
Okay, I'm gonna look for something. Maybe like, I don't know, a torch, like a brazier or something.
There are some torches and sconces on the wall, but they're not lit.
All right. I'm gonna grab one of those torches. Could you light this for us, Sanya?
I look at the green fire. I look at you like.
Okay, I'm not going to make you make a roll for that. He touches the end of this torch that you've grabbed, Rufus, and suddenly there's this burst of brilliant green light, and this green fire flares at the end of your torch.
I'm going to take careful aim and try and throw at one of these skeletons that are attacking Milo.
Okay, that sounds like a volley roll, so that's a roll with your dex.
I've never done a volley roll before. Okay, let's do this. Boom! That's a 11.
Okay, roll your damage.
What would be for a volley roll then? It's just base damage.
It's just your base damage, yeah.
Right, cool. That's a 2.
Okay, so as one of these skeletons, Milo, is getting ready to like throw itself on you, like a third one, as it leaps through the air, there's suddenly this, and this green burning torch comes over your shoulder, hits this skeleton, sort of like square in the skull. It doesn't kill it, but it knocks it back on the staircase, and it's having to like pick itself up. Okay, Glog.
So I'm going to. There's still 1 on Milo, right?
There's 2 on Milo. The one that got knocked back. Was the third one leaping towards him.
Got it. So I'm going to take my axe. I'm going to flip it to the hammer side, and I'm going to bring it down to try and just smash one that's on his forearm.
Okay, make a hack and slash roll.
Yep. I'll answer you guys' questions in a second. So 12.
Okay, roll your damage.
Yeah. I'm still pretty sure I'm doing this right. I'll explain it in a minute. 11 points of damage.
Okay, describe how you dispatch one of the skeletons that's currently attacking Stone Milo.
So as I bring the axe over, I've got it hammer side first, and so it just sweeps it right off his body and slams into the floor, and it just a shower of bones as the hammer drives it right to the floor.
And that's exactly what happens. Durkee, you see that happen in front of you. What are you doing? There's still 1 skeleton on Milo.
Right, okay. In that case, again, I'll go and support Milo this time. Especially as the skeleton's going to be quite considerably bigger than him. So I'm going to charge forward and try and lob the thing's
Milo
head
is
off?
very, very big at the moment. He's filling the hallway.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize you were that big. I thought you were just like.
He's
Slightly
a
more-
giant man of stone at the minute.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
you can still try and make a hack and slash roll, sort of like fighting around him if you wish.
I still do it anyway. And did terribly. I got a 7.
Okay, so roll your damage. Well, in fact, no, what I'm going to say, I'm offering you a choice. You can roll your damage and do some damage to them, but you will take some damage in return. Or you can say that you've not managed to get around Milo, and so you won't do any damage, but you won't take any damage.
No, I'll do the damage.
Okay, roll your damage.
1.
Okay.
Is that now 5?
You take 1 point of damage as you're sort of like stabbing through with your weapon, sort of trying to hack. One of these skeletons that's still on Milo sort of crawls over him, crawls over his shoulder, and hurls itself onto you.
Fantastic.
Okay, Milo.
Okay, so the remaining 6 is still coming, right?
Yeah, they're still coming.
Okay. He will focus on the essence in the walls and makes stalagmites and stalactites, I think they're called, appear to crush them in the hallway. Now, it doesn't say if I can turn it into an area effect, so I guess you will have to decide that. But I'll just make a hack and slash, okay?
Yeah, go for it.
Ha, no.
Okay, mark an XP. Okay, so what I'm going to say is you have summoned up these sort of like spikes of stone from the steps, and you basically managed to cut off the 4 at the back. At the minute, they can't get round these spikes of stone to get to you, but there's obviously still 3 of them on your side. They all, again, leap on you, Milo, clawing at you madly. Can you make me a Defy Danger Constitution roll? Since you can't really dodge anywhere.
That is 12? No, 11.
Okay, they claw and scramble madly over you, but they're unable to penetrate your now stony hide. A couple of chips of stone fly off you, but it does you no real damage. Okay, Sanya.
All right, so I run up the stairs at the moment, and I'm not quite sure what's happening up there. I see he's grown fairly large, and my fire is green, and I'm not. Sanya gets a little bit confused of what he wants to do, but he's still got one use of the rolls for the tag left. So he's going to grab the whip one more time, and as it burns out, he's going to basically try and wipe as many as he can with one big swing over the head of hopefully what's Milo, but he's just tall enough to be hit over, I hope.
You have to jump up to swish it over his head because he's quite big now.
I'll give it a shot. But
Okay.
the last of the use of my just use the burning brand.
Make
to
a
have to
Defy
try it.
Danger strength roll.
Excellent. Well, fail.
Mark an XP. Okay, so you lash your whip over. However, one of these skeletons actually grabs hold of the end of your whip and almost uses it to springboard off Milo towards you, like impacting with your chest. You take 1 wound of damage
Gotcha.
as it thuds into you, and it's clawing, trying to find a weak spot in your new leather armor. Okay, so Rufus, you've seen Sanya step up. He leaps up to swish this whip of green fire over Stone Milo's head. One of the skeletons grabs it and swings on it, impacting with Sanya's chest, clawing at his leather armor.
I'm gonna run up to Sanya and rip this skeleton off of him and throw it against the wall if I can.
Okay, that's a Defy Danger strength-based roll because you're trying
Strength.
to pull it off.
Yeah. I got your back, Sanya. I got your back. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. That's 13.
Okay, roll your damage.
Let's make it a good one this time. So 1, John.
Okay, so you've pulled the skeleton off Sanya. However, it's now sort of, you've damaged it slightly. You've pushed it against the wall, but you're like in front of it, holding it on the wall, and it's like lashing out at you. Can you please make me a Defy Danger Constitution roll?
Yes.
So you can't dodge and hold on to it.
Yes, I can. Just 9.
Okay. You take 2 points of wound damage as this thing's claws lash at you.
Ouch.
Okay, Glog.
Milo, you're brave, but you should let me lead. I'm going to rush at them, and I'm like, again. I'm going to try and duplicate the same move. Oh, look at that. I missed this time with a 5.
Okay, mark yourself an XP.
So I try the same move, but Milo kind of staggers to the left at the last second, and my hammer just bounces off the stair.
Indeed. As you do that, one of the skeletons, the one that's still on Milo, drops off and it springs on you, causing you 4 wounds of damage as it claws at your face.
Okay.
Okay, Durkee, you're still wrestling with this skeleton that's on you. What are you doing?
Okay, so I'm going to try and throw it off, probably by sort of reaching in to its eye sockets in its mouth and just throwing it off like that.
Okay, make me a defy danger roll based on strength.
Oh, except I dropped dice. Another one, Jesus Christ. Okay, so that's an 8.
Okay, so I'm going to say that you can throw it off you. You can roll to do your damage, but you will take some damage yourself as it's clawing at you as you throw it off.
I've got loads.
So roll your damage.
3.
Okay. You take 4 wounds of damage yourself, but describe how you dispatch this thing as you throw it off you. It claws frantically at you as you're sort of like throwing it off.
Okay, so like I said, I take it by the eye sockets in the mouth, and I just throw it so hard that it hits the wall, bashes against it, and just completely falls apart like the other one.
As you throw it off you, and you've got your hand inside its sort of jaw. As you throw it off you, the jaw snaps together, and your middle finger is severed on your hand. But you throw it off you, it hits the wall and explodes. You see your severed finger like drop to the floor as it falls out of its skull.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Okay. Stone
Wow.
Milo.
Okay. He's a bit concerned with all the green fire going around him, so he'll take a few steps forward and try that move again to make the ground move.
Go for it.
Oh, 7 this time.
Okay, roll your damage. I'm going to say that if you wish, you can spend like your points to add, for each point you spend, you'll add a d6 to that roll.
Okay, I'll do that.
Obviously, bear in mind once you run out of those points, you'll turn back into your normal form.
Yeah, just need to see how many I got. Hang on. Okay, I'll spend 1. So that's 10 points of damage.
Okay, behind this wall of stone spikes where these like 4 skeletons in the rear row are climbing over them, more spikes burst out of the ground, seemingly formed from the very stone of the staircase, shattering 2 of the skeletons in the rear rank into so much powder and bone. Sanya, there's 2 skeletons left on your side. One's on Glog, one's on Rufus, and there's 2 on the other side of the stone wall.
I'm gonna try and help Rufus as best as I can because I know Glog will be found on his own. So unfortunately I've run out of brands and I don't really want to summon fire again because it turned green and I was a little bit worried. So instead I'm going to basically run up to the thing and try and hold on to it and hopefully help Rufus get a hit into it. So he can take it out.
So you're effectively trying to aid Rufus. So roll 2 dice plus the number of bonds you have with Rufus.
Which is 1. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay. So you can take +1 to your next roll, Rufus, which we come to now, as Sanya is like helping peel this thing off you. So what do you do, Rufus?
Right, Rufus is, since he's got him up against the wall, he's going to try. And what he would do in a situation this person was a human and had like skin and like muscles and stuff, he's going to try and shove his dagger through the base of his neck up into the skull.
Okay, go for it. Make that hack and slash roll.
I mean, hope for the best.
You've got a +1.
I mean, it's a skeleton. What can I do? So that would be a 6, 7, 8, 9 total.
Okay, roll your damage.
That's 2, John.
Okay, you take 5 wounds of damage as this thing claws at you. However, you do manage to dispatch it, so describe how you deal with it.
Yeah, so basically what Rufus does, he forces this dagger into the skull, and as he slides it up the wall, he's put all of the strength on it. He's just raising it up, but as he's doing so, it kind of gets over his guard, and the claws just slashing at his back and ripping his armor and tearing into him. And eventually the dagger goes through the skull, and it just shatters around him.
And a cascade of bone dust and shards of bone falls on yourself and Sanya as you twist the knife, shattering the skull of this creature. Okay, Glog, on this side of the stone wall, there's just the one that's on you. What are you doing, Glog?
Right, so I've got my axe in one hand, and I'm going to just sort of get it in a headlock, and then with my other hand, I'm going to grab onto like the spine just above the hip bone there, and just try and pull it apart.
Okay, defy danger, roll your strength.
7.
Okay, roll your damage.
Yeah, I was doing that wrong, Lloyd. But I do get the D4. I just double checked. So 7 points of damage. You don't add modifiers to damage, do you? It's just a straight weapon, right?
So you take 3 wounds as you're doing this, as this thing's clawing at you, but you've managed to dispatch it. So describe how you deal with it.
Yeah, so I literally just and just pull it apart and then throw it to the ground.
Indeed, you throw its spine contemptuously to the ground. It clatters off the stairs. So there's just the 2 on the other side of the stone, the stone shards that Milo has summoned. They're slowly climbing over it. Dirk, you can see them climbing over. You're now free. I'm going to assume, because you're a warrior, you've got enough about you to quickly like bind up your injured finger. That's fine, so don't worry about that. You can see these 2 skeletons crawling over these stone spikes slowly. What do you do?
Okay. I think Ducky will still be taken aback a bit with his finger, but he's gonna point his symbol towards the rest of these skeletons and attempt to turn the undead.
Okay, remind me, do you have to make a roll for that, or is it just like...
Yeah, it's a roll plus wisdom.
Okay, make that wisdom roll.
Oh, not bad. Okay, so...
When you say turn them...
Mm-hmm.
Repel them.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I was thinking
it would cause them to flee. So that is a 10 in total. So I'm momentarily dazed, intelligent, undead, cause mindless ones to flee. Aggression breaks the effects, and they are able to act as normal.
As you hold out your holy symbol and you begin chanting in this low, sonorous manner that all true worshippers of Kavresh do, this golden light seems to flow out of your symbol. These 2 skeletons shriek and almost like insect-like they scuttle backwards up the stairs away from you.
Not taking any more fingers from me today.
Okay,
Foul
we're
pests.
effectively not in combat rounds now, as Durkee says, foul pests, and holds out this holy symbol, forcing them back.
So they climb up towards Milo?
Well, they're the ones that were past you. They're on the other side of the spikes that you've raised. So they're sort of now like fleeing up the stairs away from you guys.
Okay. The stone elements will start to crack and bits and pieces rubble will fall of it. And once all the dust settles, Milo will be standing there. Slightly
Indeed.
coughing.
This large stony figure seems to like shrink down slightly as he says, bits of stone falling off, and as the dust settles, there's like Milo stood in the middle of this sort of group of rocks and rubble, like. Okay, as long as you keep unchanting, Dirk, you're in no current danger from these skeletons. They're sort of at the top of the stairs on all fours. They're still hissing and screeching, but they don't seem to be able to move any closer while you're maintaining your chant.
We should we should press on, right, Clark?
Yes. Yes.
I'm
Absolutely. Go.
nodding
Go.
away
I'm moving up the stairs, bleeding from other locations. I took quite a bit of damage there.
Okay, if you move past Dirk, you will be in danger from these things because Dirk's chant's like keeping them back. Are you pressing ahead anyway, Glog? Or are you just like storming forward, or?
Milo will follow him.
Yeah, I was going to.
What happens if I?
Go forward anyway.
What happens if I dispatch them while she's got them sort of? I don't know, in thrall or whatever.
Yeah. So if you want to do that, what I'll say is that using that zone, effectively, Dirk can like back them up against a wall, and then you could pretty much just take them out.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. So work in concert.
Yeah.
I'll be like, was it Lord Grievous with the lightsabers whirling?
Okay, I'm not going to ask you guys
With
to
the
make a roll
axe, right?
for that because once they're backed up against the wall, they've effectively got nowhere they can go. You can take your time to line up your shot, and you're like, and dispatch these two skeletons. Now you're nearer the top of the tower. You can hear this low, sonorous chanting coming from the roof of the tower. The feeling of static electricity is getting even stronger. Like I say, the hairs on the back of your neck and even on your head now are standing up. When you're wielding metal weapons, occasionally like sparks of static flash off the metal of your weapons.
I'm gonna continue to charge up the stairs, and I'm leaving like a trail of blood from my gashes.
Okay, not a problem. You charge up the stairway. There's a few more skeletons, but you just like smash them aside as you're running up the stairs. Okay, guys, Glog's like making a beeline for the roof. There's a couple more skeletons. He smashes them with his axe as he runs through. Are you guys following him? I know Milo said he's going after him.
Milo will follow him.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, you burst out onto the ceiling, the roof of this tower, and you can see what appears to be an arrangement of large white crystals in the centre of the roof. Stuck in the middle of them is a large silver sword. There's green energy crackling around it, and in it, so in the air above it, you can see what appears to be a tear forming in the air. Can you all make me discern realities rolls?
The hilt of the sword, I'm assuming it's blade up. What is it resting in?
It's basically looks like the sword has been plunged with its blade into these large white crystals.
What's this compared to, John?
Okay, this is discern reality, so it's
Wisdom.
wisdom.
Sweet.
I got a
I
10,
got
John.
an 8.
I failed.
Okay, anyone
I have
who got
11.
anyone who got a 10 or more, as you can actually see from the angle you're stood at, you can see through this tear, and on the other side of it, you can see what appears to be this a city of some kind with large white buildings, very nice looking, very.
Do I
clean.
recognise it?
Okay, as you're sort of peering through it, like I say, you can see this. You can see this city. Have you ever been to the holy city of Amarana?
That's the place that Sanya's from, isn't it?
Yep.
I don't think I have, actually. I don't think I have. But I know it's not that far from Vinra, since
Okay,
I've
well,
heard of it.
I would tell you, Rufus, that you actually do recognise it because it's the place that you did your first job. You stole the family portrait of the king and his daughter, and that's what put you on the map as the White Raven. So as you're looking through, you recognise the holy city of Amarana on the other side of this portal, this gateway that's slowly getting bigger and bigger. However, the gaze of the rest of you is drawn to a ragged figure floating several feet above the roof surface, a skeletal, withered figure long black robes flowing around it. Its face is a shrunken skull with a mane of white hair and beard whipping around as though by unseen winds. Its eye sockets are blazing balls of green fire. You can see that hanging in the air around it are words in a strange language that none of you know that seem to be made of green fire floating in the air around it.
I don't know if this is wise or not, but remembering the words of Oscar, I'm going to go up and I'm going to grab sword and try and pull it from its base.
Okay, make me a defy danger roll based on Dex.
X. Okay. 8.
Okay. Not a problem. You take 13 points of wound damage, ignoring armor. As you step forward to where you run forward to try and grab this sword, this floating gaunt figure almost lazily extends a clawed hand, and a gout of bright green energy flies from its hand, striking Glog dead center in his chest, just where his heart would be.
So even with an 8, I didn't get anything, like not even a partial success, or?
Yeah, you're pretty much within like a few paces of like grabbing this sword. It's only due to this like energy forcing you back a bit that means you've not got your hand on it.
Okay.
I will take a step forward and I'll look up and I'll go, Jasper, I assume.
The figure turns round and in like this booming loud voice says, "Who dares invade my sanctum?"
Look, I don't particularly care for your problems, but we're taking that sword and there's nothing you can do about it.
Let me complete my working and you can have the sword.
That's a fairly good point. No, don't do it. Don't do it. I look down at the sword, I look up at him, and I go, your working will break whatever curse that's been placed on you, and then you will get your undead minions to run around wherever it is you're going. I can't allow that. Well, actually, I can. I just don't want to.
Then
Rufus will shout at
die! And it throws out a hand in your direction. Make me a defy danger roll based on Dex, Sonia.
All right, as I saw him shoot that thing out, I'm going to put my own hand up, and I'm going to shoot flame towards him instead, and try and counter it that way.
Nice, I like it. Go for it.
All right, and here's where I roll my -1 and fail miserably. Watch for this. Yep, done it. Yep, failed it. That was painful.
Mark an XP.
Double fucking one. Jeez.
Fucking called it too.
Okay, you take 5 points of wound damage, ignoring armor, as your
It's like
flame,
35 to 1.
your flame gouts out. It meets this bolt of green energy that this creature shoots towards you, and for a moment they hang in midair, locked together. Then it's as if the green energy envelops your flame, rushes towards you, strikes you in the shoulder, and you feel the weight of years press down on you, as though when this energy hit you, you felt like your bones creaking, as though age was rushing upon you.
As it hits me and then like the flames come up, I reach out my hand and I burn that part off using my fight fire with fire move. And I sort of like shrug it off, and I bleed. There's a little bit of a scar, but it's not as bad as it was before.
Okay, Durkir, what are you doing? As this figure floats, their green energy coruscating around its hand, this tear in the air above the sword and the large white crystals is getting bigger. You can now all see this white building city on the other side of it.
Wait, is that Amara?
It looks very much like it, Sonia.
Maybe we were not destined to see this.
Milo will run towards the necromancer and shapeshift.
Okay, you make your shapeshift and roll, Milo. What are you doing, Durkir?
Yeah, I think I'm going to cast darkness around the area of the necromancer.
Okay, make your roll.
Oh, very nice. That is 11, so that's an absolutely fine roll. Supernatural darkness and shadow. While the spell's ongoing, I take -1 to cast a spell.
Okay, Dirkir throws his hand forward, and this sphere of inky blackness appears around the floating figure.
Okay, as you do that, you can hear the flapping of wings as Milo disappears into the darkness.
Okay,
I'll shapeshift into an eagle.
nice. Okay, Rufus, what are you doing?
Rufus is first he shouts towards Sanya. He's like, "That's the holy city. Can you see it?"
Yes, I can. I'm a little busy right now.
Yeah.
He says
And then
he's
he's-
like burning his shoulder to like cleanse himself.
If I want to use one of my poisons, do I have to apply it to the weapon first?
You would have to apply it. I will tell you that you would know that this guy's probably not going to be affected by poisons if he's undead.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to run to Glag.
Okay. You sprint over to where Glog is. What
I'm gonna
what say to you in Glog?
Do I need to make a roll to assess his wounds?
I'm pretty hurt.
Okay, yeah, he looks pretty bad.
Alright, I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, I got multiple wounds.
I reach into like a little secret pocket. You've never seen me actually delve into this part of my armor before. I kind of like he unclasping something, and I pull out this little like vial, and it has a kind of like a bluish tint to it, and I hand it to you. Drink this and fight on.
Right, so-
Glad.
I'm gonna grab it like a runner getting a baton because I'm focused on this sword. I'm only a few feet from.
Yeah.
I'll grab it and chug it down.
Not a problem. Since he's
Yeah,
handed
like
that to you,
before.
drinking that won't take any of your action, Glog.
Yep.
So how many hit points does he get back for that?
I don't know. It just says it's a health potion. I picked up a character gen.
I think it's 7.
I think those
Yeah,
are
the-
10. Or there's 7, one of them.
It's 7.
Really?
Okay, so you've got 7 hit points back, Glog. As you chug this down, you feel
Excellent.
your injuries, the pain lessened, and you feel yourself reinvigorated. You're within a few steps of this sword, Glog. What are you going to do?
I'm grabbing it, pulling it out.
Okay, make me a strength roll to not pull it out, because it's literally been plunged into these crystals, sword in the stone.
There, take that. Take that. 15.
You grab hold of this sword, and you feel like this feeling of inner peace and sort of righteousness wash over you. You grunt with the strain, and then there's a as you pull the sword out of the stone. Okay, I will tell you that sword will raise your damage to D12 whilst you're using it to fight evil. Okay,
Wow.
Dirkir, can you please
Does pulling it out have an effect on this guy?
It will do. I'll describe it momentarily. You can't really see him. He's in the darkness at the minute. But Dirkir, can you please make me a Defy Danger roll based on your wisdom? Because you can feel something inside this darkness fighting back against your spell.
That's a 9.
Okay, I'm going to give you a hard choice now. You can maintain the spell, but the feedback is going to cause you physical damage, or you can let the spell end, but you won't take any damage.
I'm gonna let go.
Okay, you release the spell. It sort of causes you to stagger back a few bits. The darkness seems to explode apart as this skeletal figure just tears it apart with its claw-like hands. Then it sees you drawing this sword and holding it aloft, Glog, and it's like, no!
Good.
Okay, Milo, the darkness has cleared. You're in the form of an eagle, although the thing doesn't seem to be paying attention to you. Its focus is locked on Glog holding this sword.
Does it appear like corporeal or translucent?
It seems to be corporeal.
Okay, I'll fly up and with the eagle's big talons dig into both his shoulders, and I will use an eagle move, pull someone into the air, and I'll fly off with him.
Okay, make me a Defy
Nice.
Danger roll based on your strength, because obviously this thing's going to struggle against you.
Yay!
I guess on this
So-
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, and as in the Lord of the Rings, but giant eagle are just douchebags. I fail.
Okay, mark yourself an XP. So what happens is, as you grab hold of this thing, it literally, one of its claws flashes out, grabs you in one of its claws. It hurls you through the portal. You guys watch as like this eagle goes down towards it. Its hand flashes out in a blur of speed. Then it hurls the eagle through this portal. You see it tumble end over end and disappear through this now
Wings
shrinking
flapping.
portal.
Hopefully, it can fly back.
Okay, Sanya.
Oh crap. The thing is, he's still in the darkness. I can't fight him right now. But I just saw.
No, the darkness is gone.
The darkness is gone. He shredded it.
Oh, it's still gone. All right. Oh no, I can't. I don't have anything to get him back. Unfortunately, I can't actually go get the eagles. The best thing to do is keep this thing occupied.
Can you
So
whip
I'm going to. Sorry, what was that?
Can you whip them back?
I would,
Yeah.
but it's made of fire. It's not exactly going to be nice.
Well, better than them being lost in the void, I suppose.
That's also probably a good point. All right, I'm going to try and generate another whip and whip him back in.
Okay, make your roll to generate the whip.
All right, here goes nothing. All I need is just a partial success. Come on, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay,
Enough
another
to make it
hissing green whip of flame appears in your hand. Make me a... I'm going to say it's a dex-based defy danger roll, because you're obviously trying to whip him quickly before he like entirely disappears
problem.
through this portal.
Oh, I just realized something, but I've been really stupid. I may treat my intelligence as my strength or dex in regards to using this weapon. So can I do that instead with that?
You can, of
Because
course.
I'll need it. Because hopefully I'll get you. 9, 10, 11.
Okay, roll the damage for your whip.
So about this, bro.
Whip it.
4.
Okay,
Whip
just
it,
as you're
kid.
sort of disappearing, tumbling, flapping through this portal, Milo, this whip of fire, scorching and painful, loops around you, causing you 4 wounds of damage. Then, just as you're about to go into the portal, you're literally on the threshold, it yoinks you back. Okay, Rufus,
You'll howl in pain.
the eagle's squawking and screeching as it's pulled back. Rufus, what are you doing?
So I'm stood relatively next to Glag. He's got the sword. Is this guy still floating in the air?
Yeah, his feet have never touched the floor.
Okay. I'm gonna take. I've got
Kind
some
of like
of the.
you this morning.
Hey, you know it. I am gonna try and throw one of my throwing daggers at him, since I can't really get at him.
Okay, that's a volley roll, so make your dex roll.
And see if I can just chip away at him or distract him enough that someone with magic can do something. Because Rufus is just a man, damn it. Right, that's 9 in total. Oh, sorry, 10 in total, even.
Okay, roll your damage.
Ooh. That is just 1. I don't know why I rolled it twice.
Okay, your dagger strikes this thing and like sticks in its shoulder. You notice it just like it doesn't let out a howl of pain or anything. It just like looks down at its shoulder. Okay, Glog, you've got the sword, the silver sword of vengeance.
Is there any furniture in this room?
No, there's literally
Of any kind?
because you're on the roof of the tower. There's literally the crystals in the centre that you pull the sword from. There's this now shrinking portal above it to the holy city.
How high off the ground is this guy?
He's only floating like a foot off the ground. He's not a fly.
Oh, all right. So I'm gonna use the sword on him.
Okay, go for
Oscar
it.
probably was somewhat effective.
Make a defy danger roll based on your strength.
All right, so I'm going to use my appetite. So tell me if I'm doing this wrong. This is the first time I'm using this ability. When you use... let me just read it exactly. Sorry.
No problems.
All right. While pursuing one of your appetites, if you roll or move, instead of rolling 2d6, roll a d6 and a d8. And I think fame and glory certainly applies
Yeah, that's
here. That sounds
absolutely
like
fine.
one.
Go for it.
Okay, so that's 10. So I succeed, but you have to introduce a complication. Like it counts as a normal success, but the GM will also introduce a complication or danger that comes about as part of your heedless pursuit.
Okay, so roll your damage first. and then I'll tell you what happened.
Right on. Oh wait, that's I should have been a D12. I'll just add 2.
Yeah, that's fine.
So how about 14 points of damage then? Take
Okay,
that.
this thing howls, and you're basically up close to it, and you've like jammed this sword that seems to, as it makes contact with it, it's like burning with white, pure fire. As you jab it in its ribs, the complication is this thing that literally grabs hold of you around the waist. It kicks its feet almost as though like a swimmer would, and it lifts up into the air, zooming towards the portal, basically with you along for the ride, Glog.
Okay.
Okay, Dirk here, you've seen this thing, it's like zooming up into the air. Glog's, it's holding on to Glog, who's stabbing at it with this Silver Avenger. It's heading towards the portal.
Oh, I wish I had a long range weapon.
Well, it's pretty short range. Where the tower's only 20 feet wide.
Yeah, but I only have a warhammer.
Oh, you don't have any range weapon at all.
No, not at all. No.
Not even a.
He has an anti-material rifle, but that's a secret.
Gotcha. Portal gun. Wish I had a portal gun.
Could you use chanting to block the portal?
Oh God. Unlikely.
I don't know how these gods work.
I'm looking.
No problem, stay down.
It's my first portal.
Oh, I don't
Slow.
know.
It's Portalicious.
Portalicious.
Well, and maybe even if you hurt him, then he might let go.
Oh, this is so hard. It's
Wouldn't
not really anything useful for
wouldn't
this.
Kavresh get somewhat annoyed if Jasper's about to escape if you invoked his name? They do have like a beef with each other, I
Well,
think.
yeah, that's true. Okay, well, I can communicate with him in several ways. So I suppose I'll go for divine guidance. When you petition your deity according to the precepts of your religion, you're granted some useful knowledge or boon related to the deity's domain. The GM will tell you what.
Okay, as you step forward with your hammer and you're silently calling on Kavresh's aid, your hammer, the head of it bursts into flames, normal sort of like glowing amber flames, and you have this almost uncontrollable urge to like smash your hammer into the ground.
In that case, I do so.
As you smash it into the ground, there's like a loud explosion and a burst of flames, and you are jettisoned skywards towards this thing.
Okay, is the hammer still in flames?
No, after you smash it into the ground, the flames die out on the hammer. But
Okay.
you're now hurtling through the air towards this thing.
All right then. I was going to say I'll probably not be able to do anything else this turn, but what I was intending to do was cast magic weapon and then whack him some,
Okay.
like a home run.
I will tell you, you're probably not going to have the chance to cast magic weapon and whack him because he's heading towards the portal at a rate of knots.
Oh right, okay. All right, just whack him then.
But thanks to the blessing of your gods, on your next turn you will at least be able to get a crack in because you're like zooming through the air
Yeah.
towards it. Okay.
Awesome.
Milo, you've like disentangled yourself from this flaming whip. Sanya's like whooped it off you. You can see Jasper hurtling skywards, locked together with Glog. They're almost at the mouth of this portal. You can also see your dwarven friend Dirk has just gone and like jettisoned off towards them.
Okay, shaking off the pain and confusion from the fire, he takes to the sky after Jasper.
Okay, no
I'll
problem.
try
You
to see if.
it'll take you this move to like get close enough to them.
Okay, okay, that's cool.
Okay, Sanya, what are you doing?
I guess I'll try and whip. I guess I'll try and whip Glog out of the way of the portal. I'm already there. Might as well try it again.
Okay, make your
Grab him.
roll.
There goes nothing. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, your your mastery of this whip seems to be improving the more you use it. You wrap the whip around Glog's boot. It scorches the boot a bit but doesn't cause him any damage. And you wrench him away from this creature. The sword comes loose as you're pulled away, Glog. It's still in your hands.
Okay, so these things happen almost simultaneously. Can I swing at him as he's pulling me away from it?
You can indeed. Make a hack and slash roll.
Excellent. That's what I will do. 10.
Roll your damage.
You got it. 5. Oh, I did it wrong. It should be 7, sorry.
That's fine.
I did that wrong again.
Okay, you slice it again with this glowing white fire of your sword. You see it wince in pain as its hands like a couple of inches away from the mouth of this portal, and then you're like falling through the air as you're pulled backwards by this whip. Okay, Rufus. This thing's almost at the portal. It's literally like it could just reach out and touch the portal.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna take aim and ask for any aid that's out there, gods, demons, whatever, whatever. I just make this count, and I'm gonna fling one of my remaining daggers at him, so I can get him in the back.
Go for it. Make a volley roll.
I mean, if he's not paying attention.
Again, doesn't have any vital spots for the next time.
Yeah, it's true. I'm just messing. Okay. Oh, I should probably roll another one. That would be great. So that's a 7. Sorry, no. 8 total. No, what am I talking about? It's 7. Oh, I don't know. I can't count again.
Okay, roll your damage.
Okay. Really nice if I rolled well today. 6. Boom.
Okay, since you only got a 7, I'm halving that down to 3. However, one of your daggers does stick in the back of this creature. Okay, Glog did his hack and slash. So, Dirk here, you literally, you're level with this thing now as you've been bursting into the air. There's like a couple of seconds before it passes beyond the portal. Still what I turn.
I'm going, Clark's going down, Dicky's going up.
Yeah, high five towards your passage.
It's not the best roll ever. It's an 8 in total. I got for hack and slash.
Okay, in which case,
I wrestling tag him in.
Okay, I'm going to give you a hard choice. You can either do some damage on this, but you run the risk of being like swept in its wake and taken through the portal yourself, or you can just like shoot past it. You won't cause it any damage, but there'll be no chance of stopping it going through the portal.
Well, obviously I'm going to follow it through the portal if necessary. That's way more fun.
Okay, in which case you'll probably take some damage from it, but roll your damage.
Mm-hmm.
Kill it.
4.
It's been hurt a lot. I've done like over 20 to it. So.
Okay, this thing's looking extremely ragged now, and it screams the first time it's shown of any pain as your hammer crunches into it. However, as it does so, it places a hand on your chest, and you take 2 wounds of damage, ignoring your armor as you feel this. You feel your heart like pounding in your chest, so a tight feeling in your ribs and your lungs as you struggle for breath. Okay, can you please make me a Defy Danger strength roll? This thing's going through the portal, but are you going with it?
Another 1. Okay, so that is a 9.
Okay, so again, you've got the I'm going to tell you this, you don't know how near this thing is to dying. You've got a hard choice of either doing some damage, but if you don't take it out, you're going through that portal, or you can just drop yourself off it and fall back to the ground, but then it will go through the portal.
Oh.
Go for it. I'll whip you in. It's fine. I'm whipping everybody.
All right, I'll do it.
Okay, roll your damage.
That's
You will take some damage from it.
2.
Okay, you take 4 wounds of damage, ignoring armor. You again, the way you guys are watching on the ground, you see this struggle as these two are roiling around in the air. Then both of them disappear through the portal. Dirk is still hammering at Jasper. The portal's now like just big enough for like a person to fit through, and it's still shrinking slowly. We're effectively out of combat now. You two have gone through the portal.
Can I throw a rope through the portal?
Can I dive in to get him?
You can certainly dive in if you wish, because you've obviously you can fly effectively. Milo, so that's not a problem. And plus, you're quite small, so you can easily fit through.
Well, the eagle is big, so
Yeah, but it's not big compared to a
Well,
person.
it's big compared to a robin, not to a troll.
Yeah, if you want to fly through after Durkee, you can do, Milo.
well, it's large. I assume that's.
There's
Big,
still enough
but
room
I'll
for just about squeeze.
just
You
go
might have
for
to
it.
like
Go
pull
for
your
it.
wings in and dive bomb through it. You can easily do that.
Yeah, he'll try to grab Dirk here and kind of dive in and give a
Okay,
wing
now-
flap
now I will
and
tell you-
throw back.
I will tell you before you do this, just in the interest of full disclosure. Previously, when Sanya whipped you back, you were just about to go into the portal. Durkee and this creature have gone through the portal.
Okay.
If you still want to
Can
try that, you
can I
do.
throw a rope through? Like, even if he's going through, I'm still going to throw a rope through. Basically, I'm trying to do an aid move here and help them get back. I don't know how you want
I'm
to
not
roll.
going to say you have to make a roll for that. You throw a rope through, no problem. As the end passes through, it sort of hangs there as though the rope's hanging down from the portal.
All right, I'm holding the other end solid.
Okay.
Something for them to grab onto.
Milo, you going through the portal?
Yeah.
You dive bomb through it and you find yourself in this bewilderingly foreign city of these tall, statuesque white buildings. You can see in the air above you Durkee and Jasper. There's like loads of people dressed in a strange manner, all sort of like looking up and pointing at the two of them. They've shot out and into the air.
Okay, I'll dive down and grab Dirk here.
Okay, you shoot out of the portal and your talons clutch into Durkee. Okay, the rest of you guys were there. There's a rope hanging down from it. The portal's still shrinking. You could just about fit a person through now. The three of you are on this side.
Yeah, I'm bracing. I'm just bracing for the. As soon as they're grabbed on, I'm gonna.
Okay. So, Sanya and Rufus, what are you doing?
I don't know if this guy if Jasper's gone away or not. I kind of want to dive through the portal to go get him, but I definitely don't want to be near that city.
So is this just to recollect, how many of them are actually through the portal?
Just
Okay.
to
Shoot.
Milo
Just two.
and Durkee and Jasper are through the portal.
Right.
And some of my rope.
Okay. Since you're considering this, Rufus, can you please make a spout lore roll to see what you know about portals, if anything? It's intelligence.
We'll see. Okay. Do I know anything? That's a 9 with my minus.
Okay. You realise as you're looking up at the portal that it's a little bit odd that, like, nothing's fallen through from the other side.
Yeah. Sanya, usually portals are two-way. Why hasn't anything come through to this side?
don't know. Why wouldn't it?
What? Should we go after them?
I go, Glog, try and pull your rope back.
Not yet. I'm
Just a
yelling.
little.
Okay. An inch.
Okay. you tug your rope, Blog. It doesn't move.
That's fine. They can still use it to climb up on if up is
Oh, yeah,
down.
yeah.
You know?
Quite.
So I'm
easy.
still going to hang on to it.
What if it's a one-way portal? What if they can't get back?
What if they can't get back?
Let them try before you say they can't. I'm going to yell out, grab the rope. I don't know if they can get through the portal or not.
Okay, Durkee, make me a strength defy danger roll.
That is a 7.
No pressure.
Okay, as you fly out of the portal and Jasper is still sort of clutching on you, he basically throws you off him. It looks like you're going to fall down these many feet to like a bumpy landing below. Then these talons dig into your leg, and you see this eagle effectively like flapping to like. You can't keep her up in the air, so you can't keep him up in the air because the weight of the armor the dwarf is wearing is too much, Milo. But you could certainly slow the descent. Whereas Jasper continues shooting up into the air like, I am free.
Okay.
Yeah, that's that was the problem.
That hurts, Milo.
think the eagle will probably make some eagle sounds.
Indeed, looking below you, Milo, you can see this tear on the ground where you can see like the others below it sort of peering up. And you can see the roof of the tower through the portal.
And some rope.
Yeah, and some rope, like a little bit of rope hanging over the edge.
Can I mean, if Durka is too heavy to lift, I probably can't throw him up either, right? So
No.
all I can do is try to slow down his descent so he doesn't squash
That's fine, you can do
when he
that.
lands.
Where
so
do you
he'll
intend to deposit Dirk here?
This Jasper person, is he falling too, or is he
No,
flying?
he's like flying up into the air, away from you guys.
So the portal's on the ground from their perspective.
That's correct.
Okay, I'll deposit him near the portal.
Okay, so this eagle sort of fluttering quite madly lowers you down as gently as it can, Dirk, onto the portal.
Mm-hmm.
And as you hit the ground, it's almost as though you're lying on a sheet of clear glass. Those of you down below, you can see Dirk like lying on the portal on the other side.
Okay, that said it. Definitely one way portal I jumped through.
Okay. Make me a defy danger dex roll.
It's getting smaller and smaller all the time.
Indeed.
Once I let go of Dirk here, I take to the sky again after Jasper.
Grab the rope on the other
Okay,
side.
not a problem. Sanya, you like grab the rope and like quickly like shimmy up it as this portal is shrinking, and you like disappear through the portal. You basically like emerge and pretty much fall on top of Dirk as you like clamber out around him. Okay, Rufus,
now
what are you
lean-
doing?
Come on, unmute. There we go. I shout after Sanya. Sanya, are you Oh, he's gone.
Yes, I think he is.
Oh, Glag.
The portal's still shrinking.
I'm not
looks
going
at-
through. I have no intention.
I can't leave my body to
Makes
die.
no sense. Die what? They're not dying. They're on the other side.
I'm gonna. Damn it, Sanya.
You've got a little time to make a decision, Rufus. Tell me now, what are you doing?
I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna come with.
Okay, make me a defy danger dex roll.
This is not how I decided to die. Come on. There we go. That's a 8.
Okay. I presume, as you said, Glog, you're not planning to go through the portal.
On a metagame level, I get it, but it makes no sense for Glard to go through.
That's fine. It's
What I'm
going to
do, though, is I'm going to tie my end of the rope to like a hammer, to like a spike, and just chisel it into the floor.
Yeah.
So at least I got a tether. Yeah.
Okay. So as this portal finally closes, you scramble through in the dying seconds, Rufus. However, as you scramble through, as the portal closes, it actually slices off the bottom of your boot and some of the skin on the bottom of your foot, causing you 2 wounds of damage. You watch, Glog, as this portal, like, your rope falls down, and also like a bit of shoe leather and a bit of skin and blood falls down.
2 points of damage and 17 points of pain.
I shrug, wondering what the hell is wrong with her. And I'm just going to walk out with my sword. My
Well,
new
at least
sword.
you have a new sword, and you have the shoe sole of Rufus. Hey,
You-
it's not a bad day.
You throw this holy sword over your shoulder, and you start walking out of the now eerily silent tower. As you get outside, there's a ghostly figure clad in plate mail waiting outside. It bows at you, clasping its arm across its chest, and says, "Thank you, my friend. Wield this blade in the name of truth and justice." And then it begins to fade away.
I nod. Solo style, just like Conan again. Mount up. Take some of the other mounts, like tie them up. I ride out with the rest of these mounts.
The sun
Okay.
is setting.
the rest of you
Yep.
in the holy city, surrounded by these white buildings and these people dressed in a bewildering array of fashion. Some of them are shrieking. There's like panic reigning on the streets of Amaran. You watch as Jasper becomes like a tiny little speck in the sky before you lose sight of him. Then you look around you, finding yourself in strange and unfamiliar surroundings. And that, ladies and gentlemen... Oh, is there something anyone wants to say? Milo?
No, that's cool.
Okay, in which case, ladies and gentlemen, as you're in this strange holy city of Amaran, surrounded by all these people who've just seen you like appear out of the ground after like some undead sorcerer flew up into the air screaming he was free, that is where we call an end to the session. Thank you very much for playing, guys. We will get to XP in a few moments after I've ended the broadcast. I'm quite happy to chat for a few moments, but for now I'm just going to say I hope you all enjoyed the session, and I'm going to end the broadcast.